another show with my homie Szaba, aka Danny Glover, aka Tell the Truth, True Warrior. What's going on with you, brother?
What's
If you knew
going
the
on, man? I've been looking forward to this show for 6 months, bro. I've
six
been looking
months.
for us talking about the positives of living overseas, man, and
Okay.
why, and a lot of reasons why I think brothers, if they're even thinking about it, should get off the fence. Get your ass off the fence and make the move, brothers. It's worth it, I think. As an African American man, it is I haven't regretted it moving overseas. Now, work took me overseas, but it is an awesome, 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 awesome feeling and experience to be overseas. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm eating. So I'm gonna eat a little,
All right, you got some naysayers right here now.
but I'm gonna spit that fire.
Flyboy
Oh,
say,
hey, Rich. You know, I like to debate and argue a little bit. So I'm ready to tear somebody ass up
so
tonight.
we need to get Flyboy on the channel there.
It,
I was trying to get
try to put
Nathaniel on the channel. I sent him a message, but he busy
I
because
would
he's
have
gonna shut
loved.
you down.
Mm-mm. No, bro. I can't understand. I would have loved to have somebody who would have had a differing view of how living in the United Mistakes of America,
So you
the
want
United,
opposition on the show?
the
I can
United
get you opposition now.
Snakes of America is better than living as a black man overseas. Wow, I can't see how that argument can hold water.
Hey, he might need to get on the show then. You know what I mean?
You know, I don't know. I don't know what angle a person would come from. What are they saying there?
Hey, I don't know what he thinking. He ain't said nothing yet. He just said it's a bad move. He said you should go and visit for a while and come back.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. But you know, I agree you should go live for a while and come back. Depending on where you're going, but there are so many countries that welcome us as human beings. We've been, and this is going to be
Oh,
a
oh, okay. The main. Let me get the main on, man. The main is he's a guy that's living abroad right now. He's in Colombia. He
Mhm.
was in Colombia last year. All right, let me highlight the main. Hit me on the WhatsApp, man. Hit your boy up, man. Hit your boy up over here. So
Mhm.
you want me to get this opposition on? Y'all want
Get the
opposition?
opposition on, cause I'm Rich. Let me tell you
You
something,
gonna
bro.
rip him a new
This
asshole?
this ain't. Let me tell you something, bro. They
Ain't
come
nothing
on
to play
here.
with.
They come on here tonight. Last night, I was being calm. Tonight, I'm advocating for the devil. I'm a motherfucker eat their ass up.
Uh-oh. Danny Glover gonna get them predators.
Yeah.
He
You
gonna
better
annihilate the
look here.
predators.
It better be a white man coming up here, because ain't no black man gonna come up here and try to tell me that it's better to be in the States than to be here or to be overseas.
He don't want you to have a stroke, old man.
Well, who is this? Who is this? Who is this?
Flyboy Way, man. Flyboy Way. He was on the show the other day. He's from New York. And he got the
Okay, fly
YouTube
boy.
channel.
If you say I'm an old man have a stroke, man, you know him, man. Uh, get on here, man. You know what I'm saying, and give me one.
Hey, salute to everybody's in there, man. What's up, Coach T?
You know why?
What's up,
Look here.
Tim? Tim came in. Go ahead.
I told you why I was gonna light him up. He ain't gonna come on this motherfucker because he know I'm gonna tear his ass up. So
Uh-oh, he called him out.
sit your weak ass on that damn computer and just type.
Computer Capone.
Yeah.
Computer Capone and shit. What's going
What's up,
on, brother?
Jermaine? What's up, Jermaine?
What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Can everybody hear me? Great to be here. Great to be here.
Hey, last time I seen the man, he left me at the party, man. I hit him up. Hey, man, I got a situation I'm about to take care of at the crib. I'm like, damn, I thought we was hanging out tonight, brother. Shit.
I had a short shot, man. I had to go with the short shot.
Right. Let me give
See, I
everybody a
know,
shout out.
I know Domain is not, because Domain is in. Well, he spends a lot of time in Colombia, so it wouldn't be an opposition. But
Oh nah, he's friendly fire, man. You know, friendly
yeah,
fire.
Domain cool. Um, I'll say, I wrote a couple of things down because we were going to talk about this today, and I would say some of my reasons were, and I've listed some things. I think probably on the top of my list of why it's so great for Black men, and at this point, a lot of men in America to be living overseas, is because we, or at least have some degree of respect or semblance of respect as men in when we're overseas. I have all my life, I have never been in a group of either educated people, religious people, and they have said as a group, we have to respect Black men. I've never seen that in my life. Now, I've heard it in reverse. Oh, we need to respect the sisters. We need to respect Black men. But I have never heard that amongst a group of people in a public setting say we should respect Black men. And what I'm alluding, what I'm driving to is that uh, in a lot of countries, as a man, you have some degree of respect as a man. And I feel sorry for brothers who have never left the country and have never felt that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel sorry for them. I think they just don't know, man. You know, I think they just don't know. You know, I be trying to get brothers to go, man, but I'm done trying to convince. What you think
So,
about them
Domain,
brothers that
what's your
don't
opinion on
travel?
that?
You asking me?
Yeah,
Sucks
what's
to
your
be
opinion on that?
them. It's a short answer and a
No,
long answer.
but what I'm asking you is like, what is your response in reference to as African American men or men that we don't get a lot of respect as men? Think, and I have to say this too to piggyback. Like, I got sisters, man. I got 5 sisters, and I mean, they love me, but I
I got
just don't
four.
think I don't think they. I mean, I even, my own mother, right? I mean, my father died in the house. I was raised with my biological father. My daddy
Me
died
too.
Christmas Day. And
Damn.
I can honestly tell you, when I look at my
Whew.
mother's behavior, and I think my mother loved my father, but the whole respecting him as a man, I don't think I saw that.
Mm.
Well, American society, United States society, I've lived there for over 40 years, so I can speak from my experience. It is a society that does not respect the man, let alone the Black man, is put at the lowest pecking order on the feeding line. So anybody who has not lived overseas and experienced living overseas, they really have nothing to compare it to. For someone to say, oh, I don't need to leave the United States, you don't need to leave your house. Why you leave out your house? You don't know until you experience it. That's all I can say. I keep coming back here for some reason, so it must be a good one. And when I was working in corporate America, I was not somebody who was quote unquote just getting by. I had a 6-figure income, and I get recruited jobs calling me now But I told him I'm going to be out the country for a limited time. So it's nothing where, oh, the only reason why he's outside the country is because he couldn't make it in the States. Nah, I do it in the States when I want to do it. But just so happened, I found a sweeter spot.
You found the honey hole. I got you.
That's it.
So,
You know, it's kind of like that. Gracias. It's
man,
kind of like that balling. It's kind of like that boiling frog syndrome, you know? Or I mean, like a lot of people who haven't experienced actually, you know, truly being free as a man, you know, it's like you're talking a whole different language to them that they don't understand. And so
Exactly.
as a result of not understanding it, they will defend that with their life. They will
Exactly.
defend that with their life, trying to protect a system that obviously works against them.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know what brother would protect this system. So I am waiting for any brother to come on here. And, you know, I sure wish Nathaniel could have came on here. Nathaniel, don't be scared, man. Come on here, man, so we can talk this thing out. Because Nathaniel, and I'm gonna talk about him since I'm on fire tonight. Nathaniel, I think I agree with a lot of what he's saying. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, especially
What's
when
he
he's like,
saying?
oh, you know, a lot of these dudes ain't got no money and they going overseas buying these prostitutes. Ain't no
So,
black man got business doing that before he buy land. Now, anybody who disagree with that is a fucking asshole. He just a dummy. If you ain't got no kind of income coming your way, but you spending all your money on these women, you just crazy. That don't make no sense. And we got too many brothers doing that. But this show is not about that. The show is supposed to be about positives of why brothers, of the positives of brothers living overseas. I can tell you right now, the living overseas is less gentrified. You get less pressure to be something that you're not. You know, white folks don't understand the pressure or the collective pressure. That's the word I'm trying to think of. White folks don't really understand how privileged they are. We walk into stores as African Americans and we feel pressure from Indians who ain't even just got citizenship. You know, when you walk into a store in Colombia, you know, it might be some degree color based, but because you have economic stability, that changes the dynamic. You know, I've even heard brothers go as far as say, when you're in another country, now you know how white people feel. The total freedom of people going to give you respect. You know, I've heard people go as far as to say that. You know, so countries are less gentrified. You know, and based on
I wouldn't say that.
What would
hey,
you say?
well, let me ask you a question. Do you think both of y'all, you think in these other countries, they respect us as a black man, or do they respect us as American, or they just respect us because they feel like we got money?
I'll let the man
Right.
do that first.
Okay, so I'll go first. I'll take that one. First of all, the way I move, the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I walk, they don't know that I'm from the United States unless I reveal it to them. There are quite a few people who have traveled with me and been in Colombia who can testify that, oh, Colombians thought you were from Colombia, and people ask me where was I from. So it's no stigma as I have a cloud over me. Oh, I'm from the United States, so we gotta lay down the red carpet to him. That don't work. So anybody coming with that argument, they can kill that noise right there.
So what you mean to tell me when you go in the store in certain neighborhoods, they don't got a clue that you American?
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't
Not
believe
at all.
that. I think they'd be suspect.
Because check this out. Check this out. I know a few guys in the chat room, in the WhatsApp chat group, that say they've been stopped and frisked. I've never been stopped and frisked in the areas that they have been stopped and frisked in. So the only thing is that I've ever been stopped was a roadblock when we were going to one part of town to the next part of town, and they pulled us over. They said, "How you doing tonight? Where you going to? And can we see your ID?" Then I showed them the ID, and we were on our way, and that was that. So I've been coming here ever since 2015, living on and off part of the year here and part of the year in the States. So when I say no, nobody just automatically assuming, oh, he's from the United States, so we're not going to treat him like a regular person out here. There's no cloud following me around like I got some type of special privilege card. And I can
Can I respond? Can I respond, Rich?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Domain.
Yes, sir.
It amazes me when brothers say that. Like I pretty much when I see a Haitian walking, I'll be like, all right, Haitian. I see American walking, I can see them from not 100 feet away. I can see them a million miles away. And I can see Americans, and if I can see them, certainly foreigners.
So let me ask you this question.
You know, let me finish. Let me finish. So what I'm saying here is that from our clothes to our body type to how we look, I would never. I've even had people say, "Man, I thought you was Dominican." I've heard people say that, but for the most part, people see me walking. I ain't gotta say nothing. I mean, when brothers be like, "Oh, people didn't know," I get it. It's a few people that are gonna say that. For the most part, everybody. I ain't gonna say everybody, but when I go somewhere, or Rich goes somewhere, or you go somewhere, people are gonna be able to look at you from your clothes to whatever, from your look to whatever, and go, he's American. And I'm like, y'all don't believe that that happens?
So let me ask you, have you ever been to Colombia?
Yes.
And if you have been, what parts have you been in Colombia, and what type of Colombian people have you been?
Cartagena, Cartagena, Barranquilla, Bogota. I mean, walking around everywhere, we kind of stick out, bro.
Well, Bogota is less than 1% black, so no matter what type of black person you are in Bogota, you're going to stick out.
Right.
But have you ever been to Cali?
What I'm saying is though, Domain, when you go to Cartagena, you know a brother when you see him.
Let me say something real quick, because I know you like to, no disrespect, but you like to talk long. Now I agree. I respect you. I respect the things you're experiencing, the positions you've been through, but you cannot nullify my experience because you have not seen me where I've been, or you have not seen my experience. So you don't know. You haven't had the conversations with the Colombian people that I had the conversations with.
All right. Well, don't disregard my question.
But you're trying to nullify my experience.
Don't disregard. I'm not nullifying it because I don't. What did I say to nullify your experience? Not a damn thing.
You said that people know you're American, whether they talk to you for a while or not. And I'm telling you the opposite. Hold on. I'm gonna let you go. Hold on. He said when you walk into a store.
You said I nullified what you said.
You're trying to negate what I said.
Oh, you're gonna change it. Oh, now you're saying I'm negating what you're saying. Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true, Domain. But first, you said I nullified what you said.
I said you're trying to nullify. You're trying to.
I'm not trying to nullify by saying that most people see you as American, whether you see it or not. That's just my opinion. I'm not nullifying what you're saying.
Right. That's your opinion. And I've asked you.
Yeah, but I'm not nullifying what you're saying.
And I'm asking you. And I just asked you
the same shit.
Exactly.
Y'all gonna disagree on that.
Hold on.
No, let him talk. This what makes a good show.
I'm just asking you if you've been to where I've been and seen the type of Colombian people I've seen. Now, of course. No, you haven't even named the cities I've been in or lived in.
Well, I mean,
You
we
said
have
you were
all
in
not
You said you were in Barranquilla. You said you were in Barranquilla, and you were in Bogota, and you were in Cartagena.
Cartagena.
I said, were you in
Yeah.
Cali? I said, were you in? Were you in?
Yes. And Medellin. Yes. And
Listen, bro.
I'm
And
telling
I'm
you,
telling you firsthand, people don't know.
thing. Well, I'm
Hey,
telling you, I've been there. What do you got to
hey,
say now?
Maybe
in
hold
defense
on.
of the man. Now I was on the train one time, and I swear, but down this dude was American. Yeah, yo, he was Colombian.
Right.
He had a haircut like me, and he didn't look like me, but he looked like a brother from the hood. I was like,
But you know, most brothers, I mean, most of the time we're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go through that all the time. I mean, people will be like, man, I thought you was Dominican. Man, no, I'm not. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of people to say that. But for the most part, when you're traveling overseas, even in Africa, you kind of tell people are Americans, bro. And if we can kind of pick up on that, certainly people can. But Domain, back to your point, you said I nullified what you're saying. I never nullified what you're saying. I never did that.
I
You
said you were
accused me of
attempting
something.
to.
Well, uh, uh, well, that's in your mind, I guess.
No, because hold on. Let me rehash real quick. He asked me if when I walk in the store and I'm doing my regular shopping and things like that, the stores I go to, the place I go to, can the people tell that you're American and they don't harass you? I said, no, they can't tell. You said, hey man, you know good and well when we go somewhere, we stick out. They know we're not from that area. And I'm telling you, my experience is the opposite. I don't stick out. They don't know unless they sit down and have a long conversation with me that I'm
what?
not from
Yeah.
the States.
What
To
about
each
your
his own.
clothes, man? What about your clothes?
But let me ask you, man. Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
For the most part, and it's certainly not guaranteed, because just be honest. Just be totally honest.
That's why I'm here.
When you're in Medellin or wherever you're at, when you see a brother, for the most part, you can kind of tell. Now that's a question. Do you feel like you're kind of oblivious to when you see foreigners, or do you think you can't tell? Because this is the
No,
point that I'm making here. This is the point that I'm making. I think most brothers have the ability to kind of tell when the dude is American or not. Now you may not believe that, but I think most brothers do.
just
So that's the
let me
question.
know when it's my turn. I'm not gonna argue back and forth because
Okay,
we
I'm
basically on
I'm
the
be,
same
I'm
stuff.
be quiet. I'm done.
So
Okay, so
travel. You live abroad. Do
No,
people
let him
when they
answer, Rich.
tell?
You ain't let him
Oh, well,
answer.
go ahead, answer then. I'm just trying
okay,
to, you know.
so let's see. My first experience coming to Colombia, I could see without talking to people the basic differences as far as if somebody was an American from the States living in Colombia and if somebody was a Colombian. And the only difference that I was able to distinguish is the style of dress, the amount of facial hair, the type of facial hair that they wear. So I told myself I was going to change my style up a little bit to blend in more. And that's exactly what I did. Now I could take you to, I don't have any of you guys on the panel been with me to my barber. I could take you to my barber, and there's a bunch of people in that barbershop that look like they could be from the States. The only way you could tell the difference is if you spoke Spanish and they didn't speak Spanish, or
Okay.
if you look at the way they wear the jeans. Most Black Colombians are going to wear tighter jeans than Black Americans. But as far as any
Gotcha.
other
If I saw you,
physical features,
I would.
you're not going to really be able to tell unless you get up on somebody and you start talking to them for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Now, my
Okay.
advantage is I'm fluent in the local language. So if I dress like they dress out here, they're not going to be able to tell if I'm from the States or not. Henceforth, they're not going to say, oh, we're not going to follow him or treat him like he's a Black Colombian because they don't know. They're just going to treat me like a person, a Black person.
Well, I'll put to you this, and I'll tell you to your face. You don't look like the average Colombian to me. And I know there are a lot of brothers there. I know there are a lot of Black people in Colombia. You just don't. So we just won't agree on that.
Okay. So therefore, To you, that's your opinion. You can have your opinion. I'm not arguing your opinion. That just explains to me that you don't have the much experience with Black Colombians. I went to
That ain't
school.
true, man. People, your same
Hold on, let me
argument is.
finish. Hold on, let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I went to school in the United States with Black Colombians. They said, brother, you look like you come from our country. I went to areas where the majority Black Colombians. I had a Black Colombian girlfriend, and she said the advantage that you have living here is if you walk down the streets, they're not going to be there. People are going to think you are Colombian, and that came from a Colombian woman who was Black and never left the country. Now,
Okay.
that's facts. If you want to, we can get her number. We can ask her. You come here, and I can take you to her, and you can ask her yourself.
Those stories too, Demain. And I just don't understand what you're saying, because I think a lot of brothers get that response.
Right.
Nigga,
so, hold on. So therefore, he asked me if I'm in the store, do people give you preferential treatment because they think you're American? I said they don't know.
I think they do, but anyway, let's move on.
It's just a matter of opinion on that, man.
Right.
I want to try to get everybody involved, so I wanted to ask Travel Data, do you get that? Do people recognize you as American off the bat, or what?
Come on, man. Look at me. Come on, man. Come on, man. I got gold on my glasses right here, man. Come on, man. You already know. But I do want to salute everybody. What's poppin', OW? What's poppin', Rich? Fly Boy, I'm not familiar with you. I can't pronounce your name. I think I seen you in the chat before.
Cousin, how you doing, bro?
What's poppin', man? Is it Szaba? Is it Szaba?
Like Szaba.
Szaba. And Demain, of course, you already know what it is. Me and Demain hung out one night, man. Even though I pulled some sixes for us, I was pissed. Well, one of them was cute as fuck. I can get one of them marketable down, but the other one, oh my God. Demain swear I was wrong, bro, but that's a whole bro. Like I said, if you hang with me, you're gonna have an adventure, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
Yes.
OW about to jump on the plane, brother. You've been in Colombia for about a month now, man. So when you travel around the country, do they automatically recognize you as American?
Yes. Yeah. As soon as I open my mouth and they see the goals in my mouth, they know I'm not from around there. So it's like a dead giveaway. Then my Spanish not the greatest, so I mean they know, and well, you know, I don't see too many guys out there wearing nautical shirt and polo shirts, so
it's all about your style though. That's all it is. Cause I've hung with Demain, and Demain does speak fluid Spanish, but just by looking at him, especially in Cali, and I noticed that when I got to Cali, it's a lot of men that fit Szaba actually and Demain's like features. You know what I mean? And actually on another tip, it's actually a lot of, from what I've seen, it's a lot of dark-skinned Venezuelans that look to me more like brothers than Colombian brothers. I don't know if you've seen the same thing, Demain, but it's actually a lot of dark-skinned Venezuelans popping, man. Like if you see a dark-skinned Venezuelan woman, you don't even know she's Venezuelan. You could swear that she's an African-American woman.
All right. Hey, so Fly Boy, man. So these guys are saying that it's a good idea to live abroad. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's the deal. Hey, let them have it. And how you feel about living abroad, man?
You know, my wise man once said, sometimes you just gotta listen to who's, you know, we can't tell who's who. But what I say is this, man. Listen, to each his own. But I'm gonna tell you why I think that's the most ignorant idea ever.
What?
Can I get a question around the panel? How many countries you guys been to so far?
I've been to one. No, two. I've been to two. Panama and Colombia.
All right, Szaba?
Man, I spent time in the military for a long time. So
how many countries as a civilian?
560 plus countries.
As a civilian?
Oh, as a civilian.
It's a different experience.
Let me think of the last 10 years. Probably 15.
Okay. Man?
All right. So do we count Canada?
Of course.
Okay, see, Canada, Saint Martin, Colombia. 5.
Okay. All right. So I've been to about 16 countries as a civilian. I've never been in the military, and I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. 300 years ago, Black folks weren't stolen from Africa. Black folks were given to whites from Africa for guns, for oil, and for drugs by other Africans. We're fighting to get back to Africa that they gave up us to the whites. The whites didn't come over there and conquer us and bring us to America. The blacks gave us to America. So these whites then brought us to America, to the United States, to Colombia, to United States to prosper off of their slaves and build an empire. They built an empire, but what they didn't expect is that those slaves would then, 200 years later, gain independence and be able to almost be, well, we can say we were given almost equal responsibility. We know it's not equal, but we can say we were given equal opportunity. That's 200 years now. Now, they can't send us back to Africa. You know why? Because we don't have a connection with Africa. We have a connection with the United States where most of the generations and generations of our families have been born. Now, if we're going back to that, and we know we have that against them, that they can't send us back, why would we volunteer to leave a country that's undoubtedly at least the top 3 most economically environments that you can go from having nothing to having something? That makes no sense. Because let me finish this train of thought before you guys respond in.
I can't wait.
That makes no sense because we can prosper way more here, starting from the bottom and getting to the top than any other country in the world. Now, here's the thing, Szaba, can you turn your camera around your room? Can you turn your camera around your room?
Well, nah, bro. I mean, you know, our privacy.
I just want to question because just
our privacy.
No, judging from your background, I don't want to live like that. You see my background? This is just the basement of one of the houses I own that I don't pay any rent on. You see, you can't do this in other countries.
Boy, you know I'm about to bust that ass right now.
Rich, what did you pull me into? Rich, what did you pull me into, man?
You can't buy one house every year and move into another house in America, rent it out, get income, and then take that income and maybe live 4 months or 5 months in another country like a king. You have to live like you live, which is kind of like a peasant in my book. I don't want to live like a peasant. I don't want to live like a peasant all my life. I'm too young for that. I'm 35 years old. 50 and 60 years old living like a peasant. I don't want to live like you when I'm that old. Now,
Daddy, love
me, I personally don't want to live that way. Now, if that's the way other people want to live, it's okay. But here's the thing: if I leave America, my grounds are still in America. I'm still going to own property in America. I want kids. I have kids. I don't want my kids raised in another country because then I take away the opportunity for them to reach the level I've reached. You know why? Because the kids from other countries are trying to come here to America because the chance of you going from here to here in America is way further than in the countries that you guys speak of. Now, if I wanted to live like a peasant, where's he at? If I wanted to live like a peasant or rent from other people or maybe just work overseas, then I would probably do that. But no, I don't want to work. When I go overseas, I live pretty good. I can spend $2,000-$3,000 in a weekend and it doesn't hurt me. You know why? Because I don't live overseas. I can stay there for 5-6 months and live like a king. Why? Because I stay in America and I gain the profit while I can. Now, when I get 45 and I retire, I'm still not going to live like a peasant. But yeah, I will live overseas for about 7 months, maybe 5 months a year.
I respect that, but I respect that opinion, but I'll let somebody else go first.
Look, man, I really don't understand his argument. It took him 5 minutes to say that basically, in my opinion, what he's basically saying is, you know, I can live a good life in America. I can make more money here in America and live pretty good and travel. took you 5 minutes to say that? I mean, is that what you're basically saying?
That's not what I said. What I said is that the passive income I can grow living in America and raise my kids in America to where they can get a higher standard, then that's more important than me living in another country like a peasant.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. Let me repeat myself. I think what you said for 5 minutes was that you could live better in America instead of living like a peasant in another country or poor in another country. Is that took you 5 minutes to say that? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm going to still live in other countries. I'm just not moving from America like the guy you guys are saying. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, let me put it to you a little differently. What you're basically saying, it's better for me to live in America because I make money in America, and if I'm living in another country, I'm gonna have to live like a peasant. Is that what
you're missing the point? I'm not saying live in America. I'm saying not leaving America. You guys live in another country. I'm going to live in another country for 5 months. You guys are just saying forget America, don't come back. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so now you just put in another thing. What you're saying is we shouldn't be saying forget America because I can live in America and gain passive income and live part of my time overseas. Is that what you're saying?
No, you can live most of your time overseas. Okay, that sounds good. I go with you on that one.
I'm just trying to understand you, so you got to keep it going. So what you're saying is, I would rather. I got to make your point very clear because when I dig into your ass, I'm gonna dig real hard. I'm gonna have a long. So understand your point.
Wait, before you to my ass, can you flush toilet tissue down your bathroom?
I'm not giving you my point.
I don't know. Can you?
If I'm trying to understand your point, you should be rocking with me right now. I am not disagreeing with you right now. You got to let me understand your point.
Right.
So your point is your point. I'm just making this clear for everybody before we bust your ass.
Okay.
We're going to bust your ass. Okay. That's going to happen. So what you're saying is for me to live you're saying, I could live in America and get a lot of income here and in America. And I could, and I'll have enough income to travel. If I want to be in a country for 6 months or 7 months, I don't want to be in no country and live like a peasant. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, good. That shit is so easy to dissect. You're gonna be sorry you said that shit.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let somebody else go because we at least have on the table clearly what he's saying.
Well, that's one part. Yeah, that's one part. You did get one part right. You did get one part right.
I the whole thing.
No, because you didn't touch the part of my children growing in America have a better opportunity than growing in another country.
Okay, I get that, and I agree with that. And I agree with that. But
then there's another part where
damn nigga, you bringing in 3 parts? Okay, you said the first part.
Because you own the only thing.
All right, we kind of heard. We heard your part. So let's try to get everybody involved. Travel, did you want to say something first, or you want Brother Domain to jump in?
I mean, man, I feel like I understand Flyboy, so I'll go last. Go ahead, Domain, if you want to.
Go ahead.
All right. So I wasn't able to.
Boy, you look like you look like you doing your thing. Now go ahead, Domain.
Now see, I wasn't able to write as fast, so I didn't catch all your points, but I did catch a couple of them. So I'm gonna start with in order that I called them. Okay, you made a statement about blacks selling other blacks, right? So let me ask you, how does that hold weight nowadays in this day and age? How does that hold weight?
Well, for me, I don't know how it holds weight for everybody else, but for me, I'm not in a rush to get back to the person that sold me, that put my generations and generations of family in this predicament that we in now as a United States.
So what people would you say sold you?
I don't know what tribe would not sold me, but I know I'm more latched onto my black culture as far as Malcolm X, as far as Martin Luther King, as far as George Washington Carver, versus trying to sync myself with the African culture.
Now, you mentioned Malcolm X, and he's one of my favorite role models. I admit that. Now, he did advocate for black people being self-autonomous and not being a part of the U.S. capitalistic system. Now, a lot of people say things as far as blacks sold other blacks as if that's supposed to hold weight. Do you know that white people sold other white people?
I'm not white, so that doesn't refer. That doesn't.
No, I'm just asking it. I'm just asking if you knew.
Well, I don't care to know because I'm not white, so that doesn't affect me.
So my point is this. My point is this. At the time that this thing was going on, as far as slavery and tribes going to war, there was not a universal African consciousness as far as we are brothers. So nowadays, it's a different type of consciousness. It's a different type of brotherhood for people who want to go back to Africa and establish something. So that's something you shouldn't really hold on to as far as blacks sold other blacks. I ain't going to Africa because them Africans sold me.
Well,
we are not enemies.
You missed.
Hey, but I will say something. Let me say one thing.
Let me finish because I got
you. I think just to please let everybody else talk because we let you talk, Fly Boy. I salute you. I get the swag. Wait. Everybody let you talk, my brother. Everybody let you talk. Everybody be quiet. So you gotta let us talk.
Yes, but when he misquotes what I say, I have to respond. There's no quiet to that. He misquoted.
What did he misquote?
He said I didn't want to go back to Africa. I never said that. I said I never try to latch on to African culture and put it on as my own versus cultures like Muhammad Ali, like Malcolm X. Like that's what I said. He said, "Oh, not going back to Africa." That's a whole different type of thing.
So you don't? Do you believe you're African? True or false?
Do I believe? I don't look too far to say I'm African. I'm black. I'm black. I'm United States American citizen. That's
black is a color. That don't make sense. Black is a color though.
See, for me, black is a culture. Black is the United States. Black United States is a different culture than African. To me, it's yes. We're all
okay. To you, okay, okay. As long as you say that, we all from African. All right, cool.
You say we're all from Africa, but yeah, to me, black American is a different culture from African American. From Africa.
So African American is different than African culture. I agree. All right, continue, though, man. I apologize.
There you go.
Okay, so now you said you wouldn't want to leave the United States because you mentioned your reasons as far as being financial. Am I correct in saying that?
One reason was financial. The second was giving opportunity to my children that I have. The next was just not what generations of my people from Black America had to fight, had to struggle over, and just go to another country and give all that up for generations to come past me.
Okay. I'm getting to those other points. I'm just going down. Like I said, I couldn't write everything. I couldn't write that fast.
Yes, I know. I appreciate it.
All right. So you mentioned any other country in the world. You said there is no other country except the United States that I could achieve such financial success.
But what I said was the United States is the top 3 most economical countries in the world that you can achieve success and have starting from nothing. Top 3. Exactly what I said.
Well, I'm not saying it's not one of the top. I don't know if it's the top 3. I don't know which are the top 3, but I'm not saying it's one of the top. But you did mention that you feel as though that you couldn't achieve this economic success in any other country in the world.
I didn't say that. I said it was the top 3, and that this economic success here, you wouldn't be able to achieve it in a lot of countries. It's a top 3. It doesn't mean any countries higher, but you never know. It's not the top 5.
Okay. Now currently I'm in Colombia, and I would agree with you. If I want to achieve success, as much financial success as I could in America, I would have to work 10 times harder. For me to achieve it, it's possible here in Colombia, but I would have to work 10 times harder than I would have to in the United States. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
Now, what would you describe as peasant living?
Oh, peasant living?
Yes.
Hey, Szaba, can you turn your room around again so you can see your whole room?
Man, yo, he going hard.
You just turn it around. Just turn around just one time.
He ain't gonna do that, man.
He's not gonna do that. What would you describe as peasant living?
All right, peasant living means I have to. Okay, depends what country, because I've been to 15. So let's say if I'm going to Colombia, peasant living for me.
In the 16.
Okay, over 15, right? Did I see over 15?
Good.
Peasant living for me in Colombia for me would be me making less than $50,000 a year. That would be peasant living for me in Colombia. Peasant living for me in Cuba would be me making less than $30,000 a year. peasant living for me in London would be me making less than $70,000 to $80,000 a year, and peasant living for me in Costa Rica.
New York.
Oh, and peasant living shit. I'm living like a peasant in New York. I'm working toward. I mean, I ain't gonna tell you how much I make because we on a live stream, but yeah, you know.
But do you really think he's living like a peasant, or you just using that as a narrative?
Is that a fan or air conditioning?
Man,
Right,
Man, you stupid.
But see, I got a fan too, though. I got a fan too.
Yeah, but Trevor, look above your fan. It's air conditioning right there.
Yeah. Well, you know. Well, look. Well, you know, in Colombia. Well, you know, in Colombia, a lot of places don't even come with AC anyway.
Exactly.
But I'm in Cali, so they come with ACs, but they still put fans in here. It's all good.
Okay.
all right. Is it my time to talk? Because I'm about to bust.
Hold on, I'm not
that
finished.
mother-
I'm not finished. Hold on, I'm not finished.
I'm about to bust that ass, boy. I'm about to bust that ass. Your ass gonna be like a fat asshole when I get into it.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm about to
Hold
bust you so bad, you gonna think you RuPaul.
Hold on. I'm not finished.
Go ahead, debate.
I'm not finished. I'm gonna say this real quick as far as air conditioning in Colombia. Certain cities, you're not going to want air conditioning. Certain places, you're not going to want air conditioning. Bogota is one of those cities. Medellin, I don't want air. They have air conditioning here, but I chose not to have air conditioning because it gets too cold for me. I like it 70 and above. Right now, it's the lower 60s, and I'm cold. So if it don't get above 85, I have no need for air conditioning. That's one thing. Now, one more thing you said about, you don't want to take away from your children's opportunities, right?
Yes.
Now, as a U.S. citizen, if you move abroad, you don't renounce your citizenship. So I say that to say this. You can raise your children in a foreign country, and if you want them to come back here to take advantage of financial opportunities as adults, you can do that. That option is still there. They don't, if your children are born in another country, they still have U.S. citizenship. You just need to go to the embassy to register that.
You do know that the most important thing when it comes to education is networking, right? The people if you raise them in Colombia, you bring them to the United States, all educated in Colombia, their opportunity won't be as good as they was raised in America. You know why? Because the networking ability of the people in America won't be the same. The opportunity of knowing how America works and how the places you live in America works won't be the same. You see, if I wanted my kids to buy houses all throughout New Jersey and New York, and I raised them in Bogota or Colombia, then I brought them to New York, they would have no clue. And by the way, where he is at right now, where Szaba is at, he needs air conditioning. It's not.
But let me say this.
What are you saying?
Hold on.
He's sweating.
Hold on. Now, I'm gonna say like this. I stopped my last job working for corporate America was in 2017. I was making 120K. Now I'm not saying that to brag and boast. I'm not saying that to brag and boast.
You was employed, right? You work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Here we go. That makes sense. Work for someone. You didn't own your own business.
Say that again?
You didn't own your own business.
No, at that time I did not. Right, correct.
You didn't own any real estate.
Right, at that time I did not.
You didn't own any stocks.
Say that again?
You didn't own any stocks.
No, at that time I did not. Correct.
So you were an employee making money, but getting taxed at the government rate for employee rate.
Absolutely, yes.
That makes sense why you think like this.
Makes sense why I think like, well, hold on, you didn't let me finish my point.
No, I'm not here.
Now, so right now I got my own business right now. I did not leave America because I'm just saying, pointing like, oh, I couldn't make it. I was a bum. I was low life living. I left it because I wanted to experience another place for my own personal, for my experience. A lot of people talk about leaving a place and living another place, but they don't do it. You have to do it, and you have to do it within means, because you're not going to go to another country and live under a bridge. That would just be foolish. You know what I'm saying? So now I got a plan. Now, hold on. Stop. Hold on. Now I mentioned the salary part because you said something about networking, right?
Yes, sir.
I've known people in the States for years and years and years who has whatever, they can say whatever they want to network or whatever they want to. So yes, true, a network will help you, but I have less of a network than most of the people I know in the States. They make more money and got more money than them, and they have this big network. So a big network doesn't always guarantee your financial success.
Okay, do you have any children?
Yes, I have a daughter. She's in Calgary, Canada.
How old is your daughter?
She's 14.
How do you feel living in another country, not being able to see your daughter every day?
Hey,
How do I feel not being able to
That's another part of it.
Hold on. Time out.
No, that's another part of it. I see.
Time out, man. Hey, fellas, let's have a debate. We can have a debate without getting into family affairs. I don't want to do that because that's gonna get personal. You know, I just don't want to go that route. We can still have a conversation, but we can just leave that part out of it. I'm a moderator, so hey, I want y'all to leave that part out of it.
I'm so ready. Boy, y'all don't want me to come here. Guess what? Come on. You know why I'm quiet?
Hold on. I muted y'all. Check it out. The kids ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. You know, we ain't talking about kids. The kids are innocent. I understand where you're going with it, but hey, man, that's a little overboard. So let's get back to discussion. I think, Brother Domain, are you finished with your argument in this?
Yes, I'm finished.
So I can't talk about my kids because my kids.
Well, yeah, you go ahead. You can, but don't bring other people's kids in.
As a black man raised in Newark, New Jersey, without a father, with a mother that was in and out the hospital, I could never leave my kids to go to another country. I got to stay by my kids at all times. My mother worked hard as a single mother to raise me to be a great man. I'll be damned if I'm going to go to another country and not be able to see my kid. If I can see him every day, okay, I understand. But I'm not going to go a whole week without seeing my kids. I'm not going to go 2 weeks without seeing my kids. I'm not going to be there and miss their high school introduction. I'm not going to be there to miss their 8th grade graduation. I'm not going to be there to miss my son going to kindergarten. That's important.
Well, I understand that, Fly Boy. But you don't know everybody's situation. See,
for me, that's why I brought it back to me. I apologize to man, but I brought it back to me because that's how I feel. Like, I don't care what the government ain't gonna stop me. Nobody gonna stop me from seeing my kids as much as I can because I know how it feels as a black man growing up in the United States not to have a father to walk you through this life.
All right. All right, Domain, are you finished with your argument on this, or you want to pass it to Szaba right now?
Yeah, that's all my finish. I'm finished on mine. Yeah, and that's like he said. You know, he know how it is. I wouldn't. That's a whole different subject right there. So we're not gonna, like you said, we're not gonna entertain that.
All right, go ahead, Brother Szaba.
Yeah, you know, Fly Boy, I gotta ask you a question. Did I say anything?
What do you mean?
Did I cut you off?
Did you cut me off?
Have I cut you off?
You said something. You didn't cut me off. What do you mean? I don't get it.
Have I cut you off when you were talking?
No, I'm not gonna cut you off. I'm not gonna cut you off when you're talking.
No, that ain't what I asked you. I asked you, have I cut you off?
I don't think Szaba mic on or something over there.
Yeah, I don't think the mic is on.
I can hear him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I was saying, have I cut?
I can't hear. I can't hear.
No, the earphones. You got to get some new ones. They keep going in and out. That's the correct answer.
They hear me, Black Boys. They're hearing me. It is not on my end.
Okay, you're not cutting me off.
I didn't cut you off. I shut the fuck up, didn't I not?
And I will do the same.
Tell them what I said, Rich. I shut the fuck up, did I not?
He said, yeah. He got
okay. You. So that means it's time for you to shut the fuck up. That's what that means. So you got a list. Okay. A couple of things. Malcolm X, you said staying on the plantation and black people sold into slavery. And any Holocaust, you have people who are victims and you have people who are perpetrators. There were Jewish people who were throwing their mothers and fathers. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
There were Jewish people who were throwing their mothers and fathers into the fire. That was truly happening. These Germans were making them rape their own sisters. So, you know, when you look at the Black Holocaust, Black people were victims. We were the victims of the Holocaust. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Then you got the slave, you know, like Malcolm said, you got the slave Negro and the field Negro. The slave Negro will be like, nigga, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. Which, when you talk about America being the top 3, you're just fucking wrong. What the fuck we lead in? And I want to see that study. You're not going to produce it. Just type it in. You know why you're not going to be able to type it in? Because you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Now, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm just challenging you to do that. Where the fuck do we lead on anything? While you were talking and going, I was sitting up here looking at some of the places, you know, the 10 countries with the highest standard of living. Iceland, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, Finland. America ain't in that motherfucker. So get that shit out your head about, oh, America is the greatest country in the fucking world. And that shit sound like one of them Donald Trump goddamn supporters. And you don't have any evidence to support it. Type that motherfucking shit in. We want to see it. Anyway, and another issue of, you know, I'm about to get to my abanico in my house, right? Okay. Let me say this, man. I kind of like Dave Ramsey. I kind of like, nigga, I can't see that shit. Get that fuck out of here with that shit. I can't see that shit. I ain't about to read that shit. Anyway, I'm a kind of like a follower of Dave Ramsey, you know, when it comes to income. And one thing he says, live like no one else, so you can live like no one else. Just to get you into my business a little bit, you know, I retired out of the Marine Corps, 24 years, you know. I got that coming in. I have a teacher's pension coming in. I got a huge piece of property that I've been trying to sell.
Szaba. Let me say this. I get caught up in that shit too in the chat. Richie Rich know that, bro. It's no need to put out your stats, bro. I get caught up in that too.
No, I ain't gonna put it out.
I'm just saying, trust me, bro. It's not, bro. It ain't worth it, bro.
No, I gotta let them know. I get you. I appreciate that. I got a huge piece of property, man, that I've been trying to sell. I actually got 2 pieces of property over here I've been trying to sell. And so if you want to buy one, you hit me up. I'm in the process of trying to buy and I think I told Rich this the other day, trying to buy a property to build some 4 houses on top of one another. So for you to just look at somebody's room or whatever and come to a conclusion makes you a fucking fool. It makes you fucking stupid to put yourself out there like that. You shouldn't put yourself out there because you don't know what the fuck you talking about, you know? And so, but at any rate, that shit you talking seems so crazy. Now, let me say this about kids. America is not the best country to live in, according to most people. According to most people in the world, America ain't leading shit for the most part. You know what I'm saying? We're behind in fucking math, science, education. I mean, you don't think that America is a bad environment on many levels for our kids? You know what I'm saying? That influence, all that shit we got it going on in America. But I haven't started talking about the positives of living outside of America. But for you to take it personal, it's crazy to me. For you to judge somebody, it's crazy to me, especially when you don't know people's situation. So I'm gonna stop right there. Nigga ain't provided the statistics yet. Right? That shit, and ain't nobody looking at this shit you're putting up there.
I didn't see the US though. I don't know if anybody else noticed that.
That nigga don't know what he talking about, man. That's why ignorant motherfucker can't get on this motherfucker and just be talking shit off the top of his head.
I didn't see the US nowhere.
You showing your scars, huh?
People will bust your ass. So you got to know what the fuck you talking about. America ain't leading shit. And when you look at American culture, it's a piece of shit. American culture is shit. I told you I was gonna bust that ass wide open. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm actually being quiet because I'm just showing you the respect you asked for. As I open my garage with my 2 drop tops in it. Now, what you saying?
That don't mean.
What you saying?
What does that mean? You got 2 cars. What are you talking about?
No, I just showed you 3. This is one house.
Yeah, damn, man. This shit is ignorant.
Hey, Szaba, did you have a father and mother?
Let me ask you a question.
Ain't nobody want to see your house, man.
I'm just
asking. All right, go ahead.
Did you have a father and a mother, Szaba?
Let me tell you something, bro. I told Richie today. You asked me a question. Let me answer. Let me answer. You asked me, let me answer to a point. I told Richie, you asked me, let me answer it. Goddamn it. You asked me, let me answer it. You asked me a question. I was raised with my father. My father died on this day. This is my biological father. I told Rich this today. I think I told Rich this. I told somebody this today. Yeah, I was raised by my biological mother and my biological father.
Well, you know what? A lot of us wasn't.
I was raised by my biological father and my biological mother.
Oh, wait, can we go around the panel?
Travel, man. I was raised by my mother. Me and my father, we be beefing and shit. My father was a pimp, man. Still is. He married a rich white lady, man. I was driving a Benz in school. I got
You father and mother?
Oh yeah, mother and father. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's why we have a big, I wouldn't say disagreement, and everybody says things is emotion. No, as a guy said in the chat room, I'm an animated person to prove my point. It's no emotion attached to it at all. If you see it, like when I point out things to Szaba, it's stuff that's true. Like, I mean, not true, but like I'll point out the fact he's using a fan or instead of a air conditioner. Yes, it's true, but I'm animated when I say it. It's still the fact that it's true, but I'm animated when I say it, so it's not an emotional thing. Here's the thing, though.
Hold on, let me ask you this question real quick.
Go ahead.
Before we forget. Being raised with a father and a mother, or being raised with one parent, what does that have to do with living in one country or another?
Because if I start with all the knowledge that I need to gain success, and then someone else starts beneath me with less options to make it, how can I then turn around and say their way of thinking is not the best way of thinking if they may have financially passed me? It doesn't make sense. Because
what you're saying is,
what I'm saying is, if I had the opportunity to have a mother and father, mind you, my mother was in and out of the mental institution, so it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? And my whole life she's bipolar, schizophrenic. She's been in and out of the mental institution. My father, non-existent. My grandparents raised me, and my mother helped when she was here. So to be where I'm at through doing the things that I did, at no point do I see somebody in the chat say, "Oh, he thinks he's better than everybody. Oh, he thinks he's got all this stuff." None of that stuff.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I'm just breaking down the point because you see what the people in the chat don't see, which I can see just from hearing everybody talk, is that most people were raised in a stable household, but where you're at, to me, just in my opinion, this is my opinion, where you guys are at financially isn't where I would be if I was raised in a stable household. I would be, in my opinion, way past that because I would have been given more opportunities to get stuff done, and I would have had more wisdom to do it because I'd have been taught.
Hold on, you don't know where.
My question is, how do you come to that conclusion, though?
Let Gator talk.
My thing is, it'll be hard for you to come to that conclusion because you don't know if the challenges that you faced when you were younger built your character to make you overcome the challenges that you have now to make you go hard like you do. So maybe you having more earlier, maybe would have made you softer. You don't know. So that's a big if. You know, if you had more, you would have more now. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot who jumping off damn buildings, millionaires. You know what I mean? So we really can't say that as a comparison. That's fact. You know,
that's fact.
That point to me, somebody, my boy Vinny said it. He said, people of color, we have the tightrope to success. the dominant society or white people, whatever you want to call them, they have the path to success. So I think what you're saying will be more, I guess it'll mean more to people that are not African Americans. Bro, it don't matter if you was raised with two parents or not. The fact that we're all African American in America, bro, the stuff, I'm not gonna get into it now because I said I'm gonna say less on these YouTube streams because you never know what's gonna go. But bro, I lived in New York myself as well. So I already know what time New York is. You know, I lived in DC. I lived in these cities where stuff is wild at. You know what I'm saying? I was wild at one time. So I already know what time a lot of that is. But my whole point is everybody got different paths. But dude, it's dudes that grew up with everything, man, and they're still rich, and it's dudes that grew up with nothing and they still successful. But at the same time, I can't knock another man for not being as successful as me because it could have been things that he know nothing about. Like for me, your mom Dukes had a mental situation, right? My mom Dukes died when she was 21. My mom Dukes died when I was 23, right?
Right.
But then if I become not successful, I can also blame that on the fact that my mama died. You know what I mean? It's, to me, it all depends on who you are as an individual. Because if somebody's older than me, they could have ground harder than me or less harder than me. Like, to me, that doesn't mean anything. Also, with stocks and bonds, you can make the right stock decisions and have more money than everybody on this panel, but that don't necessarily mean it got anything to do with how I was raised. I just think it's a luck of the draw and people's work ethic. I'll say both.
My experience from being around where I'm growing at, the people that were raised with more, with a stability in their home, they get further. It don't care. To me, from what I see, it doesn't matter if you're black.
Statistics support your point. If we go with statistics, a two-parent household, equal to kids being more stable because there's two streams of income, usually more discipline, more structure in the home, but it's still not an absolute, is what I'm saying. You know, and I feel you. I come from the same place. My grandmother and grandfather raised me. My mom was here and there with me, so I get where you're coming from. You see what I'm saying? So I feel you, and I'm from the South.
See, this is the thing, though. I think, you know, this is really interesting. This part, I don't know how we got from travel, but certainly there is a correlation. Basically, it seems to me what you guys are saying. Is there a correlation between one stable parent, two stable parents, or no stable? Certainly there are. There are going to be some people who are able to beat those odds, but pretty much, if you go to the projects, wherever you're at, and you ain't got nothing but single mothers there, pretty much it's much more difficult for people to get out of that situation versus if they had more of a springboard. To say, you know, to some, I mean, that is clearly that's not even debatable. But let me regress a little bit. I'm gonna regress because I ain't about to let your ass get up out of here, bro. With what you said, you got to check yourself, bro.
Nah.
You don't know what people got. You don't know what the fuck people got. Because if that actually, that's ignorant. Then a motherfucker. It's ignorant. Then a motherfucker to assume. Now it would have been easy to be like, hey, Szaba, what you got going on? What you got? You gonna let me finish? I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let you talk.
Am I assuming that you don't got an air conditioner? Am I assuming that?
Yeah, you said he a peasant, and you said that.
I'm looking at his background. He just said he had a fan. That's not assuming. That's putting a fact out. He don't.
I have a fucking air conditioner. You don't know what you're talking about. I have 2 air conditioners here. I just don't have one in this motherfucking room. And if you know anything about living overseas, you put the air conditioners in different rooms. It's going to show how much you don't know what the fuck you talking about.
The places I stay that I buy, they usually have air conditioning in every room. So I don't know.
But those are fucking Airbnbs, but it doesn't make sense to put air conditioning in every room. I mean, it just shows a lot.
Yeah, I get you.
You know,
I know Szaba talk all the time, and
let me say this to you.
It's because he did damn sure don't want one. It ain't because of the money.
But they don't have like.
Let me say this to you, fly boy. Let me educate you real quick. Give you a quick motherfucking education. When Gator's about to retire, now I have retired. Gator's about to retire. And Gator was saying something. I know you don't mind me saying this, Gator, do you?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, and Gator was saying, man, I'm gonna get so much money per month. And I would say, no, Gator, once you retire out of the military, bro, you have to include. I got 2 daughters right now, bro, in Florida, going to school for free. How much money is that? You know what I'm saying? That's about $100,000 right there, or 50 or 70, whatever. And I was like, and then you don't have to pay for a dentist because you're retired. Then you don't have to pay for, I don't even have to pay for fucking land taxes because I'm retired. So in other words, I was saying, no, Gator, you got to double that income. So just from my retirement alone, bro, I'm doing better than a lot of people. And so that you know what I'm saying? Just from that alone, because when you take in consideration all the things as a retired veteran, man, that shit is well over 100,000. I just had a prostate exam about a year ago, and of course it's free. You know how much a prostate exam costs? About $50,000. $50,000 just for that. That's probably more than a lot of people make. So don't be so fucking judgmental and quick, bro. I told you I was gonna bust your ass this fucking wide.
Wait, but what time? What age you retire at? What age you retire at? What age?
In 2006. In 2006.
What age?
Now you
retire?
All right, I'm telling you now. I retired in 2006. I'm 55 right now.
So what age you retired at?
41. 41,
right? Okay.
41, yeah.
That's tight than a motherfucker.
Hey, bro. That's
and I told you I was gonna bust your ass wide open. And you wish you would have said the shit that you said. Now you got an asshole like a faggot.
No, it doesn't. I don't want to live like this when I retire. I don't want to live. I want to live in different countries. I don't want to live like this in one country. I want to live amazingly. I don't work my whole life to live like a peasant after retirement. I don't. It's just not my.
Hey, well, let me ask you something, fly boy.
Somebody said he's the type of guy that go to a poor country and try to spend $200. They obviously have not watched any of my videos. They really haven't. Because if you watch any of my videos, you would see what I stand for and how I do. And what I'm telling you right now is just me explaining to you that don't try to settle because you can make it on a budget somewhere else. Build wealth for your family. Build generational wealth so you can pass down. And then when you hit that point where you can build generational wealth, then you can live in the country for 7 months. But don't just leave everybody you know. That's not what a hardworking man should do, in my opinion.
Well, fly boy, let me ask you something. Hold on, let me get one in real quick. One in. Now, when Steve Jobs died, how rich was he, and how old was he?
Let me Google it.
And see, man, my whole point is, you don't even gotta look, man. Like, you putting money ahead of everything, man. Sometimes money is not gonna make you happy. Money is not gonna stay your life. It's not always gonna do it for you, man. It's good to have it, man. But
here's the thing: if you can't be happy in United States, then you're taking your unhappy.
Some people are happy abroad.
Right?
That's me. Bro, that's me.
But see, here's the thing, though. If you can be happy in here, you can be happy anywhere.
Nah, this is why you
if you can't be happy there, then what?
If you can't be happy here, then take the misery somewhere else.
But see that why do you say that? Like, listen, bro, real quick, because I ain't say much this whole show. Wait, I ain't say much this whole show. I lived in New York, so I know how they moving. My whole family's from New York. My cousin is Melba. My other grandmother's cousin is Sylvia. All right, so have you heard of Sylvia's? Have you heard of Sylvia's? All right, well, anyway, if you know about food or whatever, rich, all money, whatever. So I grew up seeing both sides. You know what I'm saying? I grew up seeing some of my uncles that's legit millionaires and my cousins that's legit millionaires and people that's not. So I grew up around money, seeing money, and I came up on the other side of the tracks as well. And the whole time I was living in the U.S. in my 33 years, man, I pretty much been caught up in debt, had all the toys, had the crib, just like you. I got a 5-bedroom house right now that I own, no mortgage, free and clear, all of that. Got a Porsche back waiting on me. So, bro, I got all the toys. I probably don't got as many properties as you, but I'm a king. But wait. Was I happy in the United States? Hell no. I was smashing subpar chicks. I was always, my only thoughts was about money. And I'm a fly cat, you know what I'm saying? All I thought was about money. That was everything. But then when I came over here for the first time, I said, this is the first time I've ever felt like I wasn't a nigga, man. That's the stuff that you can't count with dollars and signs, man. But that's the stuff that, but wait. I barely said anything. That's the stuff that cannot be measured by money, man. Now, of course, I'm a data scientist, man. So, of course, I would love to make X amount of dollars because I work remote. So I'm still able to live a certain quality of life that I live here based off the US salary. But I will say this as well. Dude, I get offers literally every day to go work. I call it in the matrix to make a real data science salary. I take a pay cut because I work remote. But dude, if anybody can Google this, you can see the average salary for a data scientist in Atlanta. I get offers every day. But do I choose to stay here as a king with less money, or do I go back to the United States and almost double or triple my income to live the life that so many brothers are living? Because when you're in America, America costs. That's the part, like them cars and stuff like that. I don't know if you own them and lease them, but I know whatever you doing, they cost money. They cost money. Go ahead.
So your reason that you wasn't happy is because of how other people thought of you or treated you in America as a black man.
Yeah.
You base your happiness on how other people thought.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was the system of racism. That's not made up. That's not in my mind, brother.
No.
That's not in my mind.
But 5 minutes, trust me, I know it's not made up.
Okay. And stress level. Somebody else said it.
But for me, I don't let anything affect me. That it doesn't matter what comes at me. It's how I react to it and how I let it affect me. I can be happy in the most miserable hood. I can be happy with all that I've been through in life. I'm just happy. You know why?
Well, you know what that means? That means it doesn't. You know what that means too? But you know what that means too? That just means you're stronger than me, and I'm okay with that.
I don't think that means I'm stronger than you.
But the reason I'm saying that, I used to be just like some of the cats because I was doing my thing. Some of the cats that used to say it ain't all about money. I'm like, of course you're gonna say that because you ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? But then when I actually became that person, I was like, wow, I'm so much happier waking up, whatever. And I choose my own schedule too. I'm so much happier waking up whenever I want to wake up. I travel to different cities all the time. I do got AC. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get a house in Cali, bro. And my house that I'm about to get is, bro, it's humongous, bro. And I'm about to pay like $300 a month for it. That same house in the United States. And y'all know I ain't lying because you've been to Colombia. I'm assuming you've been to Colombia, fly boy. You know I ain't lying. So the house that I'm about to get, bro, I'm manifesting.
But the main has something to say, man. Let the main speak.
I apologize.
Right, go ahead, man.
All right, I'm gonna be real quick. This is an interesting show. It's an interesting topic. So, real quick, everybody knows the singer Khalees, right?
Facts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was gonna say she sold her $1 million home in California and bought a farm in Colombia. Real quick. Now, as far as your reasons for wanting to stay in any country, whether it be here, there, or whatever country it is, it's your own personal reasons. Your personal reasons can be projected on a group of people and say because that specific group of people don't want to be in the country that you prefer to be in, that it's a foolish decision for that group of people. You have to look at the individual's reasons, because from your point of view, from your perspective, you're good where you're at. In my perspective, I want to see more. But I've done this. This is what I've done. I've achieved certain levels of what you would call quality and comfort living in the States. Now I'm stepping outside my comfort zone and I'm achieving in another place. Now, if I don't feel as though I've achieved a certain level of success in the place I'm in currently, I still have the option to come back and jump right back up to the level I've been in the United States. That's all it is.
Facts. That's it.
But let me jump in and piggyback off you, Domain.
No, based on what Domain said, but when we encourage people of our color to do that, 90% of them don't have the same opportunity. Once they leave there, they can't just come back to the States and start where they started at. So you're saying that as an older, mature man who has already built something in the States. But who we're speaking to, we're speaking to people who haven't built exactly what you built in the States. So most of them can't go back and start anew exactly where you at. So when they make that move to another country and eventually maybe something doesn't go right, they go back and start at the bottom again. And I don't think as a majority, I don't think as a majority we should. Now you said whoever it works for certain people. Yes, it's good to spread that message, but there has to be somebody like me that shows the majority, like, listen, there is another way.
It's the same, but it's the same with you, my boy. It's the same with you. Wait. How many people are living like you?
What do you mean?
In America, how many people are living like you in America? Because I wasn't. I have one house and one car.
Well, see,
I wasn't living like you in America.
Here's the thing, though. We value different things. Like your Porsche costs how much? Like 60, 70,000?
Nah. When I bought it used, mine was like 40.
I would never spend $40,000 for a car. Okay. My Mercedes, I bought used right off the back. My other cars, I never spend that money. It's what you value.
But y'all getting off the subject. Y'all getting off the subject, man. Listen, check this out.
You wore Gucci and Prada stuff, right?
Hey, Fly Boy, do you agree with this statement right here? That you have the matrix mindset. You stuck in the matrix.
He's never seen my channel. Because if I have a matrix mindset, please explain to me why I've been to more countries than everybody on this planet. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, but let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, man. I'm piggybacking off of the main. You know, I actually, this show was supposed to be in reference to the positives of living overseas, and let me go through some run through
debate. You started. I didn't say nothing. You just came here.
Okay. Well, for the sake of peace, let's just do this. Oh, and I don't know what I was thinking. I said prostate exam is a colon exam. Colon. Checking for colon. But anyway, you know, I'm gonna go through this really quick. You know, the reasons why it's so cool to live overseas. Now that we have established, I'm not living whatever your term was, living like a peasant. Now that we have established that, and I have busted that asshole wide open. Let's continue. Can we continue to something positive? All right. Yeah. So now I'm going to continue. You know, I don't know what's up with New York. No, I ain't gonna go there because that might start a whole other. So America is
New Jersey.
You know, damn nigga, can I be positive for a motherfucking second? Can you let me be positive? God damn, nigga, you got it. You won. All right. America's less gentrified. I'm not dealing with racism. And, you know, there has been studies done how racism negatively affects. And if anybody even understands the word racism, you hear people like, it don't affect me. Well, they don't understand racism. Because you know, they just don't. You can go in the hospital and
break it down, my brother.
You're a black man, because you're a black man, you're going to be treated differently from on all levels. Anyway, if a person doesn't understand racism, I just have to sit down or understand even. Anyway, I don't even want to get into that because it's like talking to
after Domain. I want to say one quick thing. Go ahead, Domain.
Yeah, Domain. Go ahead, Domain. I'm gonna shut up. But I want to go through the list because I'll go through it really quick. Domain, I get you. But can I just go through the list and then we can go back? I swear to God.
Hold on, real quick.
I will never get through this list.
Hold on, real quick. This is real quick. You said about racism. People will say racism doesn't affect me, and if they go to the hospital, yes, I agree with you on that because it's 100% proven accuracy and statistical facts that as a black person going into the hospital in the United States, you're going to be more likely recommended an evasive procedure that's not necessary because they want to cut you open and experiment on you. When you come out the hospital, you're going to end up worse than what you were.
Right.
That's statistical facts. That's not just
right. But the main. I mean, if a person doesn't understand that elementary. But the main, if a person doesn't understand that, they need you're gonna have to spend 4 years trying to explain them to that. If they motherfuckers be talking about racism don't exist, man, that's a whole nother panel. Anyway, the microaggressions that we have against white people. When you start talking to white people, these microaggressions they have, you know, I ain't really worried about, like when I'm gonna say some worry about police, you know, the lack of acknowledgement as a man, as a human being, you know, as the respect for men, like I talked about again. A lot of men, look at a lot of older men who've been married. You can look at them, look like they came home from war, man. Look like they have feelings of isolation. A lot of guys who are married, you know, Charles Tyler talked about this, and I'm just going real fast. He was talking about, you know, how, you know, a lot of brothers are on the fence. You know, trust me, hey, Flyboy, I respect you to the hilt, but trust me, brother, you will not see more happier brothers in the United States than you will find brothers who are able to escape the plantation. Okay, black men who travel collectively are so happy. It's just amazing to see. Now I'm gonna take this in consider. I'm gonna take this also. Your money is your money in a lot of the places overseas is probably more important than your race. You know what I'm saying? There are very few feminists in a lot of the countries that a lot of brothers are going to. A lot of brothers ain't going to places where there are feminists. You know what I'm saying? In America, man, woman could just accuse you on your job tomorrow, man. You take your job, ruin your reputation. We're not dealing with the crazy divorce laws where women can just take your kids and go to Mexico and ain't nothing gonna be done. Once brothers are traveling, their whole reference points change.
Like, you know,
me, they become a different human being. You know what I'm saying? Also, man, I'm just going through this. I'm just being positive. Let a brother be positive, man. Let a brother be positive. Let a nigga be positive, man. You can't even let me do that. You're not gonna let me be positive. You're not gonna let me be positive. You're not gonna let me be positive. Let a brother be positive. I'm not saying anything about you. I'm not even saying anything negative. But your ass is so motherfucking blind. You don't even want a brother to be positive. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You don't even want me to be positive. Why are you talking, nigga? I'm sitting here trying to be positive. And you cut it off. Look here, man. All right, there's another thing. Let me continue. Brothers understand on some levels, man. You know, you got like white people walking around with white privilege, man. When you in other countries, man, you have a certain privilege that you don't have in America.
Can I say this?
You know what I'm saying?
Can I say this?
I'm gonna shut up. Hold on, traveling. The brother don't want me to be positive, so I gotta be quiet. As long as I'm talking negative, I could, you know, I was being positive the whole time. Nigga ain't want to hear that shit. Man, that's fucked up. Hating ass motherfucking niggas, man.
Hold on. Haters. He just tried to change the narrative to say that Flyboy, the one who's been to more countries than everybody on the panel, doesn't like travel. That's what he just changed the narrative.
You ain't been to more countries than me. You're lying and the truth ain't in you. You ain't been more countries than me.
As a civilian, it doesn't count if you're a military vet. I have friends with all vets respect.
What do you mean it don't count?
That nigga, boy.
You know, as a vet, it's a different experience. You know it is. And I have a lot of friends that's E8s in the petty chief officers that was in the Navy, and this is way different as an experienced vet from a civilian when you travel. And if you tell me it's not, I'm going to record this and send it to all my friends that's in the military right now or the Marines. If you say it's not,
send it to him right now.
And
let Gator get it in, man. Gator, go ahead.
I say send it to him right now. I'm military. I've definitely been to more than 16, probably about 30 something, almost 40. I actually lived overseas for 9 years. I just moved back to the States 2 years ago. But the experiences are the same because I travel as a civilian. I didn't live overseas, like I say, for 9 years. But
put your picture up real quick. Let me record this.
Huh?
Put your picture up.
Go and record. I'm not telling you, like, I'm not traveling, like, like, I didn't travel, like, went on vacation on my own while I lived overseas or just drove to other countries when I lived overseas. But I think we all dealing with a different definition of what is success, right?
Facts.
You know, what is success, and what does success mean to you, and basically what is happiness to you? You know what I mean? So I think those are the points that we're different. We're just arguing, just being different things. And I don't think your definition of success is wrong. You know, as we get to different points in our lives, as people go on, they some people go and they have kids, and then that success changes. Well, man, just to see my kids be successful, me to build this foundation for them, you know, that then your success changes. When your kids get successful, it'll be like, well, I just want to see my grandkids do better than my kids did. So it constantly evolves depending on what point in life you are, you know. And then at some point in your life, you go be selfish and say, well, hey, I want something for me. But living abroad, living in the States is always comfortable for you. I can tell you most people what they try to explain of being overseas versus in the States is automatic acceptance overseas versus in the States. In the States, it's got to be, oh, you in the military. Okay, now you accept it. Oh, you make 6 figures. Oh, now you accept it. But overseas, you just accept it right away.
Do you think
You know,
the money?
and I think that's what a lot of people feel. They feel the embrace of that being over, and then just the different, like you say, the different microaggressions and stuff that we may feel in an overpowering capitalist society. But capitalism and greed will drive this system to allow us to go overseas. So it's like, you know, the gift and the curse kind of. But I don't think if you want to stay in the quote unquote matrix and the United States, ain't nothing wrong with that. If that's where you find your peace and your happiness at.
I don't understand. I don't understand how it becomes a narrative, though.
Yeah, because there ain't nothing like a peace of mind. I don't care how much money you got. Like I done grew up with the worst of them. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, they got plenty of money, but they can't sleep at night because they worry about somebody kicking the door in.
Fact.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
That's facts.
You know, so, but having a peace of mind, and, you know, I maybe don't have as much as them, but I sleep good at night. Police pull up on me on the side of the light, I can just keep on going. I ain't worried about nothing, you know. So whatever you find your peace, wherever you find your peace at, you know what I'm saying?
That's
hey,
what
you know, there's a story, man. There's a little quick story, if y'all let me share the 30-second story. There's this guy, and he's fishing, right? And so these guys, these white guys, they say, hey, man, you over here in the Dominican Republic fishing every day. Man, you can make some good money fishing. You could just sell this fish, man. Why don't you go out and sell this fish? And he's fishing every day, and he's giving the fish to the people in the community. And he said, man, and in 10 years, 15 years, man, you'll have a lot of money. And the guy looks at him and says, well, in 10, 20 years, 15 years, what you think I'm going to be doing? The same goddamn thing I'm doing now. You know, fishing and giving the fish to people. So peace of mind and stability for many people is more than riches, man.
We can all agree about that. We can all agree about that.
Hey, so who want to take this question right here on guys move overseas just because the women treat y'all better? Is that true? Or that's just one of the things?
You already know the answer to that.
Man, I can get a woman anywhere on this planet, man. I ain't got to go nowhere to get no woman. Some guys may do that, but if you, that's just how I feel. Y'all and data scientists, he know how I feel about that, isn't it? I'll be like, yeah, some of y'all running around here just ugly, can't dress out of shape, and y'all won't have a beard. Y'all don't deserve it. You know what I mean?
But see, me and Gator get into this a lot. But the difference is you can be
this argument.
But the difference, what's the debate? The difference is, and that was me at 23, 24 years old getting money. But anyway, like I said, you know, it ain't even like I was one of the people you talking about. But anyway, the whole thing is when people in the United States have to do, you got to be tall, you got to get in shape, you got to have a good job, you got to make all this, you got to have game, you got to have all of this stuff. Like I seen you in person, Gator, you work out, you a stocky dude. But when you leave the matrix, you can literally be yourself and still get a dime. Like people always say, it's about the money. It's not about the money. Because you said that earlier, Fly Boy. It's not about the money because when they see you, they don't know how much money you have. I feel like one of the reasons I love being in Colombia because it's the first time I actually get to use my privilege. When I look at Venezuelans live like Africans do or African Americans do in Colombia. That's how African Americans live in the United States, man, as Venezuelan. They looked at as second and third class. No, bro, you laughing, but you know I'm serious.
You're serious. But hey,
you know, another thing too, bro, is that I really feel that because I ain't trying to rag you, flat boy, but let me just regress a little bit. My standard of living, or a person's standard of living, especially if they have residual income coming in, that's a huge thing about living overseas. Their standard of living is tenfold. So, you know, that's huge. You know, but then again, too, traveling scientists, yeah, I kind of think, you know, they kind of know you have money.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell them.
You know?
But all right, so wait, somebody just said it. Somebody just said it's always about the money, but that's just not true. Damn, man, you know this.
It's not only about
the money. So wait, let me say this. So let me say the last thing, and I'm done. If you, and several fellas know this, I seen Domain in action as well. And Rich, you in the chat, you already know. You know how many women, the only thing I have paid for to get women here is a meal. My girlfriend right now has only asked me for a total of maybe 20 American dollars, and we've been dating for 3 months, man. Maybe 20 American dollars, man. She doesn't want to leave. People assume you pull a woman here, all they want is the passport. All they want is your money. That's not, they have pride in their own culture, fellas. Not y'all, I'm just saying. They have pride in their own cultures. They don't care about your money. They don't care about you going to the U.S. Newsflash, everybody doesn't want to go to the U.S. Can we believe that? Everybody doesn't want to go to the U.S. They actually love their own country. How can we imagine that? Go ahead, Domain.
So I was going to say that the statement was people move overseas because the women treat you better. So what's wrong with that?
Facts.
Oh, wow.
Hey, so, let me ask you a question.
Hold on. So people say, oh, the only reason why you guys love overseas is because they perceive you have money. Ain't that the same damn thing that these NBA players have in the States? Ain't that the same damn thing the dope boys get treatment in the States?
Fly boy.
But I don't hear nobody talking about. Don't aspire to be in the NBA or be a dope boy or be a $1 million man, because the only thing that's gonna happen is people gonna want your money. People still say get money. So if a man move across seas because he's getting the advantage of money, what the fuck is wrong with that? Everybody out here in this panel, when it comes to getting women, is going to use what they can use to their advantage. And if you find a place that people treat you better, oh well. So what's wrong with that?
To me, this is the whole thing that was the narrative was to me, in my mind, the narrative you guys were becoming was, I was saying you shouldn't live overseas.
No.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that wasn't the narrative y'all was trying to put on me, because I think that's what we're getting. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't only, like, I personally myself would not only live overseas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't only live in Dominican Republic. I wouldn't only live in Cuba. I wouldn't only live. I would still have a spot in America. Come back to like.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick to that? Currently, I'm well below the retirement age, so I'm not retired. Currently, what I'm doing is I'm not retired. So what I do currently is I live outside the country for a certain amount of time, and then when I go back into the country, I get on my grind.
So wait, that messes me up now, because in the beginning, everybody was saying they want to live in a whole nother country.
I do. Hold
on. Now, to permanently live overseas, yes, that is my goal. But at this moment in time, I'm working on plans so I can live not like a peasant, as you say, overseas.
See, this would so I'm arguing the point that everybody is doing what I'm saying, that you're doing what I said what I would do. That's because you're doing what I said I would do. You're living on a certain
yes.
But when Szaba came on, his whole point was that people should leave the matrix and live in another country.
Well, I agree. I still agree with that.
If they come to a certain point where they can, if they consider themselves needing a certain level of economic success, then they should stay until they get that certain level of economic success. Like I said, currently, for me, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But eventually, my goal in 10 years to be permanently outside the states, but I'll still have sources of income.
So then you're agreeing with me then.
Well, hold on. I'm not. But the only thing I'm disagreeing with you on is eventually I'm going to permanently be outside the states.
But me personally, yeah, I'm saying that though. Everything I'm saying, if I always preach this, find something that you can do outside of just the United States. Me personally, I'm in tech. I always encourage brothers. There's several other jobs that you can do that's not tech. They just think it's no. You can be you can do sales calls, technology sales. By the way, on a whole nother tip, somebody talked about building in the group. They keep leaving those comments. Technology sales is a job that you can do anywhere in the world. You can do it on the phone. That's the easiest barrier of entry into getting in technology. That's how I got into it. I got into it doing technology sales. And while I worked for IBM, I learned how to code and do machine learning and Python and all of that. I didn't have to because I was just in sales. But because I wanted to be a king like I am now, I put myself in a position where I can live the life that I want to live. Yeah, facts.
But you know, in the brother's defense, and Robert, the first time I'm defending you tonight, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You're saying if you're in a situation, I think this is what you're saying. I understand it clearly. You're saying if you can make money and provide a source of income for yourself in America, do that. But I think the part, and that's my defense of you, but the part that you may be missing, and you certainly missed it fucking with me. If you ain't got to do that, if you don't have to do that, just like data scientists is saying, if you can find a way to make money outside of America and secure your future outside of America,
and you don't need America.
It's way more suave because of the treatment, because of how the respect that we get. I get what you're saying, and don't you think for a minute that, and I will always stand on this because there's been no study to come out in the last couple of years that I've known of that says the quality of living in America was the best in the world. So if somebody can move to Sweden and work from the internet, or a country like Colombia and work and be able to sustain themselves, but the most important thing is not the amount of money, but in order to have a sense of happiness in their life, I think they should do that. And let me regress a little bit. There are Zig Ziglar. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him. He talks about some of the variables of being happy, and I understand. For every human being in the universe, he says, some of the things I remember, he was saying you have some sense of security as far as where you're going to be able to stay, which was one variable. He was saying, in case you get sick or things like that, you need to be going to the doctor. He was saying that you have to have good relationships with people. Anybody that doesn't have good relationship with people cannot have happiness. So that is a very important variable.
Now here's the thing I want to point out. Travel data scientist, you say you got a place back in the States, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey man, you say you got a place in the States, right?
Say again?
You got a place in the States, right?
Had it sold.
But you can go back to States because you got a place you can stay in the States, right?
Yes.
Right. Szaba, you got a place in the States?
Yes.
So then what are we arguing about? Because nobody completely moved all that stuff to another country. That's the point of the thing.
I have.
That's the whole point we're talking about. But you got a place you can go back to. So
I have.
But you got a place. I just asked everybody had a place.
No, wait. I do, but it's rented out, of course. I get my money through MoneyGram. It's rented out, of course.
Right, I don't
understand how
there's people living in it. So
I agree. My whole purpose of the argument was that I don't think you should take everything you own and move it to another country, which is living in another country. But all three of you guys have a place in the States. So
I think
that's the thing, no, brother. This is the thing, no, brother. And this is the thing you missed. I don't think anybody would disagree with saying, let me make sure I can satisfy your point. I don't think that either Richie Rich or Domain or that, is saying that, you know, if it's possible for you to have a little stake in America and you can keep that, keep it. You know, we can always come back. I mean, I don't, you know, so I think what we're trying to convey to you, if it's possible for you to live overseas and be happy, then do that.
I'm living it.
Yeah, I think when it first came, and I can make a lot more money in the States. I think Flyboy,
and trust me,
was
there's some guy, there's some little guy in Peru, or there's some American broke than a mug, but he probably happier than all 6 of us combined.
Not in America.
Money isn't always interconnected. Actually, I would submit to say this, and many of these millionaires talk about this all the time. Money isn't totally interconnected with a person's happiness. So it's, my opinion, we should seek happiness and peace first. Because when we go to our grave, or we in our last days, it ain't gonna be important how much money we had, but how our life experiences have been. That's gonna be the main thing. What good relationships do we have in our life, and who are we interconnected with is gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter because we got 10 Mercedes. It ain't gonna fucking matter.
And I just say this, and I'm shutting up, Gator. I just said this literally. I just learned this year, Szaba. I just learned that this year. That is your life experience is more valuable than everything else. Because once you have the life experience, then you can focus on the money. But for some people, money is happiness, and I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that. Don't think I'm not happy because I'm not making 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Dree said it the other day. Life is a long story about how you do it, right? But at the end of the day, legacy is what's going to walk away with your family and friends when they put you in the grave. So what you do here is important. So you get all the money in the world, but that hold for us all the same size. But I think your argument was articulated a little different, and I think that's where it came into conflict with it. And you were like, well, hey, I'm not going to just cut and run overseas, leave my family to go over there and live poorly. And they and I think that's what y'all got to argue with the actresses, all that. Like, man, I'm not going to leave the States and go over there and live like that. You know what I mean? But a lot of these brothers, like, they had plans, and like the man, he's got a plan to go full time. He pretty 50-50 right now. Dallas seems like he about 80-20. Szaba already 100%. Me, I'm still in the States. I'm rooted over. I'm in California, paying high taxes and everything, just like New Jersey. You know, but just trying to build a way, you know, to make that transition to take your whatever income you have to live a high level of quality life that you able to start paying in the States. Move that income somewhere else.
Exactly. With income coming from that's what I've been saying.
Yeah, and I think you're saying the same thing. I think it just got lost in translation. What age are you, man? And no disrespect, if you don't mind sharing.
Oh, I'm 35.
Okay, so you good, man. You got a lot going on for yourself. You like about the same age as me, so you good. Like you
Gator, you 35?
And that's what it is, huh?
You 35?
I'm 37.
Oh wow,
man, me and you don't even need to be motherfucking friends, nigga. You too young. How the fuck you my friend, nigga? Shit.
I'm 37, man, but
wow, man, damn, that's crazy, bro. So you'll be retiring about the time I retire.
Yeah, I could retire next year, next July.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm trying.
So look here, old bro. Don't be looking at a nigga fan and be judging because I told you. I tell your motherfucking ass a faggot butthole.
But look at travel scientist room, right? And then look straight at the Szaba room, man. Come on, man. It's a difference. It's a difference.
Man, do you know fucking David? Man,
it's a difference. Look at this. Look at this.
But look, bro, do you know,
come on, man.
Bro, let me tell you the first lesson of people who can hold on to $1. The first motherfucking lesson, young butterfly. Warren Buffett still live in a little ass motherfucking house. Get that shit out your head looking at people's shit and
That's
going,
true.
okay, he ain't got this, so he got money. That's the most ignorant ass motherfucking ghetto ass project
Life is
having shit you can say.
Hey,
Look, man, look, bro, what I said was real. You can't look at shit. You can't look at people's shit. You can't look at people's shit and make a judgment that makes you a fucking dumb asshole.
I just don't
when you
want to
do
live
that.
like that. That don't make me a dumb
You
asshole.
can't do that.
I want to live
You can't
like
do
this.
that.
I don't want to live like this. Now I mean, just because I can't drive a hoopty don't mean I that you can't drive a hoopty. Maybe I like
Nigga,
driving.
you ain't even heard a goddamn thing I said.
Less. It just means life is a long ass story about how you die, and that long ass story, I ain't gonna be living like this. I'm gonna be living.
What I'm saying is you was a stupid, crazy ass nigga for trying to judge because a nigga had a fan in the back. That makes you fucking stupid. And you gotta get, I'm gonna let you sleep on that tonight. Somebody gonna tell you that shit.
Come on, man.
Hold on. Time out. Fam. Fly boy, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Okay. From what I'm observing, know from you, the money you making now, if you walked away from your job, you would definitely be living first class if you went to a country like Colombia or Dominican Republic. You could have AC in the kitchen, you could have AC in the garage if you want to.
Yeah,
because your money is gonna go a lot longer in foreign countries.
I could, but
so you ain't got to worry about you living. You ain't got to worry about you living like a peasant.
Nah, but my children wouldn't be able to live like they wouldn't be able to live as good as I want them to live. If I retire, I can retire right now today. I can retire right now today and live somewhere else for the rest of my life off of just the income producing properties I have. But my children, I want them to live a better life than I had. So I'm just grinding until I can't grind no more, and then I'll do something different.
Listen, if you brought your children to a foreign country with you, they're gonna live first class.
Yeah. I want to give them the opportunity I had in America, in the United States.
They can come back.
I think personally, I just think it's my personal thing. I think it's different if you're raised in America, even if it's different from if you're raised like down south versus in like New York or California or a major metropolitan city. Like I think that's even outside of Atlanta, because Atlanta's a metropolitan city too. But yeah. I think it's a difference, even if you raised in the country versus you raised in the city, based on how you can achieve.
Facts.
And I don't want to put my kids in a position that could be, not is, but could be worse than I had, man.
Yeah. Believe me, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. Believe me, it wouldn't be.
But this is the thing too. And of course, we all want money. We all need money, love money. Okay, we got that part out the way. Right. But it's other intangibles that they would look. Because personally, my girl says she may be pregnant now. We figuring out all that right now. Hopefully, she is. I'm gonna have my Colombian citizenship.
You shot the club up.
But anyway, I want my child to grow up sometime in Colombia, and I do eventually, probably high school, like you said, for the opportunities in America. But I want my child the basics of the basis of the way they have been their upbringing is. I want them to be less materialistic than the chicks, or let's say I have a daughter, than the women are in America. I want my children to have certain values, because even me being here for only 3 months, my values have changed. This is what I was gonna show earlier. I have a gold Armani watch. You feel me? I only had to wear it twice. But my point is, in America, that's the first thing I'm putting on going to the club. And my lion fellas in the chat, that's the first thing we putting on. I got gold earrings as well. I got a grill. That's the first thing we going. But here, you don't need none of that, man. You can just be yourself, and that's why I'm saying it's stuff that's outside of the money that's priceless that a child can get.
You can have a fan in your room and be good.
You wear that out. You wear that out.
No, you know I had to get on you one time.
Hey, you wear that gold Armani watch out there, bad news will be on, boy.
Hey, I mean, I wore it, but you right. But my point is, you're right though, because the dude was telling me he got robbed in Cali, and I just came to Cali. I'm in the Airbnb. I'm actually moving to Cali December 10th.
Shit.
But I live in Barranquilla. Just a little bit about me for those of you who don't know. I live in Barranquilla, so I'm just traveling. I got a little studio spot. I'm here for business, so I'm here for like 5 days. I'll be headed back to where my girl lives at in Barranquilla.
Let me say something real quick. Have any of you guys ever had the conversation with your parents about what to say or what to do if you get pulled over by the cops when you were younger?
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know as black men being in the United States is a certain way we have to behave in a certain suit of armor that we have to have so we can survive. I mean, so we can live, not be making money or balling, but survive so we don't die, so we can go home at the end of the day. Me personally, when it comes to why people recommend people moving overseas, I am not going to raise my children in an environment where I have to have that conversation about what to say and what to do when the cops come, because I'm not going to be the father who's going to be on TV protesting and crying if a police officer kills any of my children. Somebody kills mine, that's it.
Now I understand what he says, but all right, I'll use my experience growing up in North New Jersey, in the 90s, with gangs, drugs, epidemics. I don't know you guys remember what's this guy named Frank Lucas and all that stuff. No matter where you live in the world, you're gonna have to teach a kid a set of rules to go outside. That's not the regular rules of the road. And I would rather my children live in the country and raise in the country that I know how the rules are outside of the road than go to a country where I didn't grow up in, so I don't know all the exact rules. Like I can go tell my son, yo, listen, bro. My son, my daughter her mother is from Ghana, like the country, raised in Ghana, came over here when she was 13. My son,
man, what? You don't even gotta, man, what? Go ahead.
My son mother is white, Caucasian white. So I have a African daughter and a mixed white and black son. So for me, I feel more comfortable with them living in America because I know exactly what to tell them to not go out there and get shot. So I won't be one of the fathers that got to kill somebody for killing my son. You know what I mean? Or my daughter.
Don't even speak on it.
You know, but the thing about it is, I think the elephant in the room is this, and I think that I swear, man, you got to do some reading and get on the internet, do some research. I mean, America is not leading much in nothing, from safety to education to mathematics to science to quality of life. We're just not leading shit. And you got that shit in your fucking head because you ain't. Let me make my point here. Okay. I'm just saying, you're thinking there's no other better country than America. Now, I get what you're saying. Don't take them to a worse situation. I get that, you know, but don't try to sell us on America as the greatest fucking shit since apple motherfucking pie. It is fucking not. It is simply not. And if you do any research or reading, you will see that. The fuck?
Nobody's saying that America's the greatest. It's saying that America has the best economy or the top 3 best economy. I just showed the thing where it said.
But the list you see, you showed.
I don't believe that.
But we do.
I mean, as much debt as our GDP is, you're trying to say we're the top 3. I haven't heard any politician say that. I haven't heard any anthropologist say that. Google. I haven't heard any scientist say that. So I don't know where you're getting all this information from.
Okay, Google. What is the top economy in the world? Okay, Google.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't see the U.S. on the list that you wrote. I didn't see it. I seen a whole.
Basically, he's talking about who has the largest economy versus who has the best quality of living. So basically, you're talking where's the best opportunity to make money? Who has the most opportunities? You know, that's the U.S. got the largest economy in the world. That's how we exert our influence across the world. Then you go to Europe, and then you go to China and their economy, and this whole trade war that's going on. But what they're talking about is quality of life, like birth rate, mortality, how many people live after the age of retirement, cost of living, air quality, all of those things.
The intangibles. The intangibles.
So what
I mean, we have the top economy as far as income coming in, but black people ain't getting that. And then when you look at the quality of life, it's shit.
Look at the debt. I just paid off my taxes 2 days ago. Shout out to me. I was so happy to do that.
This is what I'm saying.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You grow. This is what I'm trying to say with Gator. What I'm trying to say with the point with Gator was you grow up and you get nice in the top economy in the world. You want to go to the top economy so that when you get your age, you can then make a decision to, yes, I want to go with better quality of living where my money earns more. But if you're going to start off somewhere that's not the top economy, then you're going to have a harder time than starting off somewhere where it's the top economy.
I mean, I agree with you. The United States has the top GDP in the world. But if you don't understand GDP, it don't mean shit. You're just trying to say we have the highest GDP. So fucking what? Do you know the value of most African Americans in the fucking country? Fuck no, you don't.
Wait.
That's why you're saying that. What is the average? What is the average income of the average American?
Wait. I don't want to say one thing.
Black people ain't benefiting from this economy.
Here's the thing. You're worried about what's the average income of all African Americans. Me, I'm worried. How can I take my knowledge that I know to get the highest income that I can get?
But most people are not. But most people are not like you, Flyboy.
But it would seem to me, Flyboy. If you said, where can I give my children the best quality of life? I would be on board. But when you start talking to me about America has the highest GDP, basically what you're saying is all the white people got all the money. That's all you're saying.
Let me break this down to you in your terms. Look, if it's 100 people, right? 90% of the people are black. I mean, white. 10% of the people are black in America, United States. And then is Africa, or let's say Africa, that's Colombia, where there's 90% of the people are white and 10% are black. Which 10% of the black people have a better chance of achieving financial independence? The 10% in America or the 10% in Colombia?
I wouldn't say Colombia. I would say compare that to an African country, maybe. Compare it to an African country.
Okay. So in Ghana. Let's say in Ghana.
Or in Ghana.
Actually, Nigeria is more right now. But
you probably got more wealthy people in Ghana per capita than you do in the United States.
We don't even own. This is what I wanted to say too. We don't even own 1% of the wealth in the United States.
The top 10%. The top 10% in Ghana is black. So it ain't no comparison, bro.
It's not.
They saying Nigeria economy is gonna be better than the United States. I think in the next 5 or 10 years.
I'm simply putting your opportunity in America to gain financial stuff, so then you can go take that money and live a better life somewhere else, part time, like you guys want to. It's better to do from America versus any other country. Do you not agree?
Well, to agree with your point. To agree with your point, ain't that's what the fuck I'm doing?
What are you talking about? No.
To agree with your point, ain't that's what the fuck I'm doing?
No, here's why it's not, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get everybody just to move there and live there without building their economy.
No. What I asked you and you didn't answer the question. I agree with you.
But I would say yes.
I agree with you. To agree with your point, isn't that what I'm doing? To agree with your point.
Isn't that what you're doing?
Yes.
Well, now that we had the conversation, I can say yes. But when you started, your whole thing was to get out of the United States, move out the matrix, and just live out of the country. You had at no point did you say, "Oh, keep something in the United States where you can go back to." At no point did you say, "Raise your kids in the United States." You said, "Just move everybody to another country." That was your point from the start, and then over time it switched. But yeah, yes.
I don't think that was my point. Anyway, bro, I think my point was that some of the best things of living outside of the States. But go ahead.
Hold on, real quick.
I'll regress.
Before I forget, what I would like to see happen, Flyboy, I would like to see you live 6 months outside of the country of the United States and then come back and then let's have this conversation in this panel and see your difference of opinion.
I still got 8 more years before I got 8 more years before I can retire and lock in my pension at my job and then retire.
Okay.
Congratulations also on that. Keep grinding, no fly
All
boy.
right,
Regardless, keep grinding.
And Fly Boy, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Since, you know, I ain't gonna let that fan shit go as long as I know you. Look here, man. How many brothers would rather be in your shoes than my shoes?
Oh,
Even though you got air right now, I got a fan right now.
You can't compare
They'd
that.
rather be living over here than living in the
But see,
United States
We can't.
of America.
Let's just talk about living in different places because we can't compare like the shoes because
Yeah. Let's check this out.
I got on these Jordans, you got on them Skippies, so it's a little bit different out
Yeah,
here.
I know how much money you're making every day by just waking up, Szaba. So I take your life. I definitely take that.
Let's get why don't we get some questions from the panel, man?
Yeah, or from
Not from the panel, from the viewers. Why don't we get some questions from the viewers?
All right.
Shout out to all the brothers on the
this
panel, man. Out there doing y'all thing, man. Getting on here collectively, having healthy conversation. You know, it get heated, but healthy conversation. You know, iron sharp as iron. So shout out to y'all and all the success y'all getting in y'all lives. You know.
Facts.
He answered that early. He says, I think he said 16, right?
A little over 15. I mean, I would say 15 probably because the 16 when I was only in for a day, so I won't count Iceland. Rank 2,500 where? Coming for Thanksgiving turkey. Oh man. So
what was your favorite country on Flyboy? What was your favorite?
I have different favorite countries for different reasons. Like adventure wise, like to explore just nature, I would say Costa Rica. For somewhere to live, I would say Barranquilla, Colombia. And a lot of people don't say Barranquilla. They say like Cartagena, but Barranquilla is actually probably a low-key jewel of the city because Barranquilla is between Santa Marta and Cartagena, and it has hot weather. But see, the thing that saves it is that most people don't really like hot weather. But as black men, it don't bother me. I feel good with it. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that.
Here go the first question for you, Fly Boy.
Overseas. Wait a minute. Wasn't there somebody else on this panel that eats booty? I don't eat booty overseas.
Me.
You eat booty?
What? Bro, I done ate 2 asses since I've been in Colombia.
Oh,
wow.
My God.
What? Why y'all acting like? Bro, I've been.
Hold on. Hey, yo, bro. Hey, Chavo, when I come over there for Barranquilla Carnival next year, when I come over there for Barranquilla Carnival, we're gonna link up, but you're gonna have to use a whole nother spoon, man. You're gonna drink a different cup. I'll pour you something, bro.
Bro, what?
Shout out to Drees, man. Shout out to Drees. What's good with you, Drees?
Man, I've been saying that. Bro, my first week in Barranquilla was on. I had my foot in my foot, bro. My first week it was on.
My question to you, Travel Data, is when you finish eating the booty, do you floss and do you use mouthwash?
Bro, I
can't get equalized shit.
Hey man. But this is old news. Yeah, Barranquilla does have a beach. But yeah, this
I got some questions for each one of y'all who are living overseas. Like, so each one of y'all just explain one thing that makes it feel easier living overseas than in the States. What is one thing?
Well, for me, it's simple. It's like I said, I left America a slave and I arrived to Colombia a king. For me, it's mostly the not having to deal with racism on a day-to-day basis. Like, they do everything here in Colombia slow. Anybody that's living in Colombia, they know that it takes forever to do everything. Post office, it's an hour. You go to the bank, it's ridiculous. In the United States, it still be packed, but at least they trying to move fast. But in Colombia, bro, everything is slow. And at first, that used to get on my nerves. But me personally, I just like the vibe. I like being looked at as a man first. Eat booty gang. I like to be looked at as a man first. I'm looked at as a man first, then a gringo, and then everything else. In America, regardless, I'm looked at as a nigga first, and then everything else. And I much rather be a king.
So I got a question. Like, I get sensitive when people talk about the slave stuff, man. So what do you mean by a slave? Like, explain that to me.
All right, so I feel the same way. I think I know where you're going. So
I'm like, we had real slaves, man. You out here making money and stuff. Ain't no.
Oh no, wait.
You're a mental slave.
But when I say, you're right, Gator, you're exactly right. Because I used to do the same thing. I used to get in arguments because I'm like, I don't think people really understood what it meant to be a slave. Like they used to really do stuff that we don't even hear about in the movies. But anyway,
like slave to debt, slave to the job, like
slave to the
grind.
slave to the matrix mindset. Because even though Flyboy, you doing your thing, if I was showing all of that stuff, I wouldn't own none of it. You know what I'm saying? I would lease all of it. Like my car, I still owe like $9,000 left. You know what I'm saying? I was so caught up in looking like the show instead of actually owning the show. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of cats get caught up, me included. Man, I had a nice loft. I done told the story, but for some of y'all that's new, I had a nice loft, nice life in Atlanta, man. Lived in Chastain Park, one of the most expensive places in Atlanta. Anybody that knows that I lived there, Arium Chastain was my apartment complex. You can Google it and check the rent right now. That's where I live. You know what I'm saying? Nice car, nice crib, worked at IBM. Everything was cool, but I still was unhappy, man. I still was unhappy because I was caught up.
So would you say that was a maturity and like lack of self-confidence thing? Or is the actual matrix fault? It's just you just maturing out of that mindset.
It can't
get more confidence in yourself.
Well, I can't say that because I always was confident. Let me say that. You can just tell by my swag. Now, I always I always was confident, but the thing was, the matrix confuses not just me. Let's act like it's just me, because like I said earlier, African Americans, we don't even own 1% of the wealth in America. You may have a little bit, but of the wealth, we don't own 1% of that. We own less than 1% of that. So it's not just me. A lot of people are caught up in the matrix mind state because we always feel like women too. We need more. We need better. My chick need to be finer. I got a 2019 Benz. Well, I need the 2020. So you put yourself in more debt. You know what I mean? The United States is built on debt. Like, it ain't just me. It's 90% of us in America, especially African American males. Women, you see it all the time when they wear weave in their head. They don't even want to look like themselves. That's another reason why obviously I moved, because the women, they're natural.
You hate weave, we know.
Oh yeah.
Hey, shout out to Mr. G, man. He's saying he's spending 2 weeks in Colombia. Gonna spend a week in Cali. Do you recommend him going to Barranquilla?
No, unless you're trying to find a wife. If you're trying to find a wife, Barranquilla. But if you're trying to just go to Cartagena, I found my chicken Carter in Barranquilla, by the way. I clean up.
What's your thoughts, Flyboy? What should he do?
Well, Barranquilla, unless you're going for Carnival, you're going to kind of run out of things to do within like 3 days, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. I was there for 8 days. So Barranquilla, you're going to run out of things to do in 3 days. Cartagena is going to be expensive, but you can maybe do 5 days. And Cartagena.
You can do both. They only an hour away.
It ain't worth it, bro. If you're gonna go to Barranquilla, Flyboy, you can say the same thing. Go to Santa Marta and go to Taganga Beach. That's where you need to go. Skip Barranquilla, go to Santa Marta and Taganga Beach. You will not regret it. Trust me.
But y'all getting off point, man. I think Gator brought up a very good question.
What's one of the things
I wanted to hear what Demain had to say too.
Yeah.
About ask him,
What's
Gator.
one thing you like to live about overseas versus the States?
There you go, Demain. He'll be down there next week, man.
Hit me up. Okay, so you said one thing?
Yeah, just one thing that makes it better living overseas than in the States.
I don't have to be treated like a nigger with a hard R.
Woo!
Wow.
I get treated like a human first, then a man, then a black man.
Hey, well,
now hold on. Before you.
Good.
Now, I have never once in the world or any time or place in my life tried to deny being a black man. Point blank, period. My father was a revolutionary. He got shot in the riots in the 60s. He instilled in me the revolutionary spirit. So I never once turned my back on the people I consider mine, the black man of America. But I realized coming to another country and being here for an extended period of time, I'm treated like a human, a man, and then a black man. I don't have to have that cloud around me of white people holding their purse when I get in the elevator, broke secretaries clenching their purse when I get in the elevator to go to my corporate job where I'm making 6 figures, and they treating the nigger treatment. That's the one
Do
thing.
you feel like you get more flack from other blacks, or are you feeling pressure from whites, or both?
Both, both. And the reason I say both is because I like to do a lot of things outside the typical African American social scene and culture. I love salsa dance. I love bachata dance. I speak 2 languages. I'm learning a third language. So I got a lot of, oh, that's not for black people. Who you think you are? You ain't this and you ain't that. You trying to be something you're not. Listen, before a white man had a university or European had a university, we had universities in Africa. Timbuktu, the University of Timbuktu goes way back before any European university was established. Our forefathers in Africa spoke multiple languages. So any black man on this planet, it is in his DNA and his gene to speak multiple languages. English is not the black man's language.
But I'll say this. I have, I done been in school more than half my life. I love school anyway, and I have a couple of degrees, but I ain't mastered English yet. I damn sure. When people ask me about Spanish, yeah, I feel comfortable talking to people about anything, but I ain't gonna say I'm fluent. But with that being said, Gator, for me, man, and this for me, it's is sensitive. The peace, brother, the peace and tranquility that I have.
Woo.
I mean, I haven't experienced it in
Man.
America like that, man. The stress, man.
What?
Like I don't, I was last time I was in the States, man. I got stopped for a tag light at night. You know what I'm saying? It's like the stress, and let me say this: I don't want anybody to try to even downplay how stress kills us. Any doctor or person that's intelligent will tell you very quickly, keep the stress down, because that's the invisible killer. There have been studies done on how racism in America, living in America as a black person, and the stress is not healthy for you. So that stress, brother, and and just like I'm going piggybacking off Domain and Educated and Traveler, just how everything it might be slow, but then if you kind of get into that groove, you be like, I'm a slow too, then dang it.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And so if you can kind of get into that, synchronize with that energy, man, the stress that I think personally that some of the brothers have who kind of get away from the party atmosphere and the lights and the ladies of the night and all that kind of stuff, they can really decrease the stress. So for me, that's probably the most important thing, and that's that the stress, especially not dealing with white folks on levels of the racism that they bring into your sphere. You know what I'm saying? I had a professor in college one time, man, and I was a really young man, and I remember him, man. He kicked back, he put his hands up, and put his feet on the table, and he says, man, and I was just a student, and he says, man, is all the education I have, all the degrees that I have, man, I have never been able to completely be free and to be completely free and comfortable talking to white folks like I'm talking to you right now. And I was just a student, and I was like, God damn, that's something for a person. We all know that as an African American man, especially if you're in corporate America, you have to speak a whole different language. I could mess up pronouns and vowels, but y'all wouldn't say, okay, Szaba dumb or whatever. But that whole thing, man. So, and then not only that, there's another element too, and Gator, is that when I do see Domain walking, I'm gonna know he an American, and I'll be like, oh man, where you from? He ain't gonna know I'm gonna know, but I'm gonna know. Where you from? And so brothers coalesce a lot more.
Facts.
And I talked about this the other night, and I think they coalesce because the crazy brothers ain't gonna travel, and the brothers that got records can't travel. And
But that's
therefore,
what makes us kings. That's literally what makes us kings.
Right.
Even though some people rock with it, some people don't. But I consider myself a king.
Real quick, to piggyback off of that real quick, every time I meet a brother who's from the States in the foreign country, it's camaraderie and love. When I'm in the States, depending on where I'm at, I got to watch myself, make sure I ain't gonna get stuck up or shot. That stress level alone, you can be from the worst hood in the United States. If I meet you in a foreign country, it's just automatic camaraderie. I'm looking out for you. I feel as though it's my personal duty to make sure that you all right. You know, if I'm in the hood in the States, I got to make sure I ain't gonna get got.
I don't know how it's possible, if it's even possible for me to understand and share how it's like nothing affects me and I react to it on a negative basis. When I hear you guys talk about, like, you know, the hard R nigger and, you know, people treating you bad, I'm like, all right, well, cool. I guess it's just because as a young kid, maybe I've been through so much stuff that maybe you guys didn't have an opportunity yet to go through the pain. So when you get past that, you become this person that's like, my stress level is probably a negative right now. I work in where I see white people every day. I mean, white people. You know, New Jersey got some white people. So it doesn't affect me. Nothing ever affects me. And I think for me, it's just hard for me to I understand you guys, but it's hard for me to empathize because it doesn't affect me any bit at all. Even when I've been out of the Florida and heard the hard R, I've seen some weight, but none of that stuff affects me. I just adjust to it. I think Black people as a whole, we focus, this is my opinion, doesn't mean it's fact, we focus more on trying to change what is than trying to change how we let ourselves affect to it, how we let it affect us.
All right.
I can respect that too.
I forgot to mute you.
I think it's a little different. I think it's a little different perspective because if you look at us, I think most of us here from, like, I'm from Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia. So you got to think our experiences coming up. You know what I mean? And those times where pretty much segregation and Jim Crow was pretty much derived from, and still pretty much lingers, like the Jim Crow South versus you growing up in a metropolitan near New York and Jersey and things like that. Because I had those same conversations with my friends who grew up in California. You know what I mean? Like it's just different. It's very liberal out here. They like, man, they don't know. All of us get along. You know, everybody smoking weed, whatever. Everybody gay, just living life how they want to live it. You know what I mean? But I think it's different from your background, what you were subjective to growing up, and how long you stayed in that environment and inside that crucible versus somebody up north or from the West Coast. So I think maybe that's what our experiences shape us. You see what I'm saying? So I think those people experiences kind of shape them as well.
All right. Hey, Flyboy Way, I just wanted to ask you, how did you feel when you was doing that live with Ace and they started shooting right outside your spot?
Like if you see the live, you can see how calm I am when I'm like, oh, they just shooting. There's nothing to it. And then you see me stuff. You know what I mean? So to me, like I'm accustomed to people shoot all the time. It's not. Well, you in a live, you can see like, oh, they just shooting. That's nothing to it. Then as I heard the bullets sound like they was closer, I said, all right, let me get down and make sure everything's SWAT. I was in one of my other houses, and it's a good area, but it's close to a rough area. So it was like I was filming there because I was just so happy to do the live there. But yeah, if you look at the live, you can see how I react. It was like the first 2 gunshots is nothing. I'm like, oh, that's just gunshots. I hear them again, and I stop, I pause, I listen closer. Oh, the gun is either bigger or it's close, so I get down to make sure no bullets, and then I finish the live. We went for a whole another hour. It's just, I guess,
I remember that.
like Gator said, it's just a matter of like you're growing up. And I was going to say that whole South thing, but I didn't know if everybody on the panel was from the South. So I couldn't. I didn't want to say that, Gator.
I was raised in the North in Pennsylvania. Then I moved to the South as an adult. I moved from PA to DC to Atlanta.
Yeah,
You know,
But see, the thing about it, the thing,
backwoods of Pennsylvania, West Virginia,
Yes.
Ohio,
Surprisingly,
probably just as bad.
Yeah, surprisingly, Pennsylvania just as bad.
but see, the thing about it is, even where you live at, brother. I mean, they still shooting brothers. You know, there's still racism in the hospital. There's still racism in housing, and 100 other things where racism exists that I won't even talk about. You know, don't act like you living in a bubble somewhere.
No, see, that's the thing, Szaba. It's just that I think we built ourselves to become not immune to it, which is bad, but to just not accept it, but to become immune to it. I know we don't accept.
You say we sensitive to it. We kind of hypersensitive to it.
I get what you're saying, but the point that I'm making, the point that I'm making here is the things that you don't have control of, government contracts, etc., the things that you don't have control of. You can't put yourself outside of the whole situation and be like, well,
institutional policies.
You can't do that. What we're saying here, and this is how it came up, is that we're so fortunate, really, I would say fortunate, to be able to not have to deal with racism like you have to deal with. You have to deal with it. For instance, when I say that, this is what I'm saying. For instance, you have to deal with your son or your daughter possibly being raped, murdered, shot, whatever. You have to racism. I don't even like to use the term. I don't like to use the term because it's so convoluted. But what I'm saying is, these are things that you cannot like circumvent. You know, you can't be like, well, it don't affect me. You know, personally. You know, you can't. You know, I don't think that's fair in reference to what we're saying. When I'm saying I don't have, it's gonna, and trust me, I'll give you an idea. When you try, well, it don't bother me. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was with a white boy, right? And we were driving, right? And we passed the police. Okay. Now the white boy had the ability to not look back. Your black ass ain't got that ability. Okay, you're gonna be like, okay, is he gonna come behind us? This racism is kind of like how you speak, right? You know, you can't help but it's influence. When people like, I can control my influence, then they don't understand influence. How the way that you talk, you had no control over that. Nothing. It was your environment. Not gonna say nothing, but you can. I hope that I'm just trying to establish a point of how, you know, when we say that we don't have to deal with racism, that you just don't discount our point and like, well, I don't deal with racism. No, certainly, bro.
Let me ask you. See, here's the thing. Now, I am probably the furthest person from religious as possible. If you know me, I'm like the furthest person from religion because I don't believe it. I'm not that I don't believe it, I just don't care to believe it. Now, here's the thing, but they did say something that I kind of agree with, and I kind of live my life this way. You have to know, what is that saying? I know one of you guys might be religious, you might know it. It says, grant me the power to
change the things I can.
Okay, right.
And the control to know the difference. That's my whole way of living. So if I can't change it, if I don't even, it doesn't even affect me. I learn how to so when you say, oh, you can't just say, oh, it doesn't affect me. No, it really doesn't. It doesn't.
See, had the power. I had the power to change that by moving to another country.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I had the power to change the things that I can control, and being affected by so much racism, I had the power to change that.
Can I answer this question? All right, and Rich, you remember I went live. Some of y'all know who she is, some of y'all don't. I went live with a chick on this show named Kizzy, right? She got a pretty good YouTube following, pretty good Instagram following. Some of y'all know her. She used to do videos of Marwa. Shout out to Marwa, the legend, the travel legend. Anyway, when I was hanging out with her, matter of fact, I'm probably gonna hang out with her this week while I'm in Cali. She literally said this. She was like, yes, it's racism in Cali, but she said they won't act like that towards me. They might act like that towards me at first, but until they realize that I'm a gringo or an American, she said they won't treat me racist no more. And I want people to understand there's a distinct difference between prejudice and racism. Racism is racism in Cali. Racism is a system. Prejudice is just somebody not liking you based on the color. And I'm not within this system, but in America, the difference is it don't matter what you are. If you come to America with this skin, you will experience racism. That's the fundamental difference. But my point is, once you come here and they realize you're a gringo or an American, you don't have to worry about that. But in America, it don't matter how much money you got in another country. Once you come to America and they see your skin color, you will experience some type of racism. Why? Because racism is within the system of America.
Hey, Travel, you said something earlier about privilege.
Boy, you a smart dude. You a smart dude, boy. You really.
I'm a scientist.
Man, let me tell you something. Bro. I got a whole.
I don't look like it, but I really
am. But scientists, when you said that, man, I swear to God, man, I have a whole new respect for you, bro.
Thank you.
You a smart dude, bro. You a smart dude. You understand that.
Shout out to CJ too, the big homie.
Hey, scientist, can you go more to when you say earlier? You said you had a privilege there.
Yeah.
Where does that privilege come from?
From America.
From being American, right?
Yes.
So if you were just a black Colombian, would they treat you differently than being American, like you said?
They probably would. In Cali, no, in Cali.
But you know what though? You know what? It doesn't come from America.
Real quick. In Cali, yes. But if you ask other people in other places in America, I mean in Colombia, which I've asked, and I'm sure the man has asked as well, the only place that I've heard that it's racism based on your skin color is, I think it's called Choco, place like that. They were talking about in a travel group, and Cali. But in Barranquilla, you can't in Barranquilla. I lived in Barranquilla for damn near 3 months. If you ask the people about racism, they'd be like, racism? It's too diverse. It's too many skin colors. The only place that I've ever heard of racism.
But Steve, this is another thing too. This is another thing too. For instance, you know, even in America, if you O.J. Simpson, you can get off. So at some level, O.J. Simpson got off. O.J. Simpson got off simply because he had money. Period. Point blank.
But money is not enough in the Matrix.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying O.J. Simpson got off because he was wealthy. That's the point I'm making with O.J. Simpson. Now, to take it to Colombia or Barranquilla or Peru or wherever, you know, there's an element that comes into this. If you have for instance, in World, I'm gonna be really quick. I swear to God, I'm gonna be like 15 seconds. In World War II, man, they hated Japanese with a passion when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Okay. However, right now, because the Japanese because they have economic power, when you see a little Japanese man come into anywhere, people bowing and bending, even white folks. So what I'm trying to point that I'm making is because you have, it's not solely because you're an American, is because that carries an economic power with it. And so as a result of having economic empowerment, it empowers you in other ways.
Let me say this to counteract what he says. Everybody here know Marwa, right?
Well, I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Marwa's from where?
Jamaica, right?
No, Kenya.
No,
Kenya.
Africa somewhere.
I didn't know.
Kenya, right?
I didn't know.
Do you think? Here's an honest question. Do you think you being from the United States and Marwa being from Kenya and both y'all being black, do you think they would look at you different from Marwa?
Sure, but if Mara was from fucking Japan, it would be a different story. If Mara was from Japan, it would be a different story. So
what I made that point for is just show you that the reason why we have a privilege over there is because the money that America is known for is in you when they see you. Now, it doesn't matter if they're going to treat Marwa more likely a way that they like maybe with a little more racial prejudice over there, then they would treat you. You know why? Because you, I mean, not known, but you have money because you're from the United States and he's from Kenya. So that black thing, that treating everybody black equal, is not the same.
But that's the privilege. Don't we deserve to use our privilege somewhere?
Yeah, if I pull out my passport, they're gonna treat us different.
You gotta show people there is a privilege.
So is that racism or classism or privileges? What is it? Because all of us and Mara are in the same race. So if they're gonna treat us better than him, how can you call that racism?
No, that's what I'm saying is that if they treat us better than Marwa, we're both black, right? Let's say we're both black, right? But they're gonna treat Marwa like Ish, which means that if we didn't have no money, they would treat us like Ish too, because we're black. But if we have money, that money changes the fact to them that you get what I'm saying?
So is that racism or classism?
No, what I'm saying is that's
answer the question, brother. Answer the question, brother.
But money changes. The money lets them look past the racism.
Then it's not
racism. I agree with him.
Check this out.
I agree with him. I agree with him.
Check this out. Hold on. Now check this out. Since we comparing the United States, in the United States, is our money gonna make a difference?
No, not in the United States.
Because it's racism. Exactly. I'm glad you did that. That was smooth.
In Colombia, there's racism too, but the money makes a difference. But in America, because we're the top economy, money doesn't make a difference.
Because it's not racism.
No, brother, you are wrong. You are wrong. Let me tell you where you are wrong. Let me tell you where you are wrong. If you a wealthy dude, you can get away, black dude. That's how OJ got off, bro. That's how OJ got off. If you're a wealthy black man, if you are a wealthy black man, you can get away with more than a poor black man.
Oh yeah,
Bill Cosby.
In some respects, classism plays a part.
Facts. That's true.
But Domain, say that again. Domain, say that again. Who?
Bill Cosby.
He poor. He a poor black man. Is he a poor black man?
Bill Cosby?
No, what's your point?
My point.
What's your point is? Can I name? Your point is. I think your point is. Can I name? Can I name wealthy? Can I name 10 wealthy black men that has gotten off versus a few black men who were wealthy that didn't get off?
You, Danny Glover.
I wish I had his money.
So you're talking about classism with them. Like Bill Cosby, he came in at a terrible time at the peak of the Me Too movement and a lot of stuff going against him. And the one thing that Bill Cosby did that I always tell people, never separate from your tribe. Bill Cosby had made a lot of things against his own black people. So when he needed his community, guess what? They were like, man, you have been shitting on us forever. We ain't coming to support you. So he was on the island by himself with his money. Right. You know what I mean? And
Kelly,
at the time,
that's right.
And at the time,
who in their right mind would want to be a broke black man going into court versus a wealthy black man?
But
money helps.
But wealth and money gives you access. Like they say, a good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows the judge. So that's what money gets you.
I never heard that. That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? That's what money gets you, because your trial is being decided on the golf course of your lawyer who used to work in the prosecutor's office that had already promoted to the judge.
Right.
That's the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan claim about black man money.
You know, Gator.
Gator. That's an important point. I think that's a huge point you just said. That's true.
Gator. But now you see why everybody can see why I focus so much on economy and building wealth. Because just like I said, when you and Marwa both go to the same country, they'll treat Marwa different because he's from Kenya and they just assume him to be poor, and they'll treat you different.
But I don't know that to be true.
Black.
I don't know that.
I know that to be true because I've heard him complain.
Yeah, I think about that. I think that's kind of true.
So when he said he came to Colombia, they treated him racist.
He said they wouldn't even give him his visa for like years until he came back. The only way he got his visa is he came to America first, got a visa from America, and then applied for a visa for Colombia to get back there.
Yeah, and I can say that's clearly true in the Dominican Republic. I mean, you know, if you're Haitian
But
and
that's
versus
different though.
your
That's
Yeah,
still
no,
They
no,
different.
I'm
thought
just saying.
Murray
I
was
think
Haitian
the
when he was
point
in
that
New
I'm
York
trying
and
to
got
take. I
smacked
think the
up.
point that I'm trying. I think the point, and I agree with the point that he's making is that there are certain African countries, or pretty much if you're from Africa versus America, pretty especially the white world, kind of sees that a little different. I'm not trying to say it's right or anything like that, but if I had to be anywhere in the world versus an African passport versus an American passport. Even Mar himself wants an American passport. He wants an American passport for a reason. Okay. However, I would say also, that race or country and economics do play a part. It's a huge part.
If I had
I
a,
mean, trust me, if we didn't have an economic base
if I had a
in
choice,
America and we weren't social, people would treat us differently in these foreign countries, bro.
if I had a choice, I would have a Canadian, French, or a British passport before I would have a U.S. passport.
None of them
Why?
countries, but none of them countries are black countries, right?
Yeah, I know that's because the economic structure is set up in the world is not controlled by black countries
Right.
at
So,
this
to
moment.
Wow, that's
make the best.
powerful right there, bro.
It is
What
powerful.
you just said. That's huge what you just said. That's true.
And that's why they treat Marwa different. That's why.
But
I
at the
just
same
feel like
time,
it's
at
where
the
he's
same
from.
time,
That don't got nothing to do with his skin, though.
at the
That's where
same
he's
time,
from.
but my point is this. I don't care what passport we all got as brothers anywhere part of the world. When you come to America, you're treated
Ex-
like that color.
that was my whole point.
Country, though.
Booyah.
That was my whole point.
Booyah.
That was my whole point.
Hit that right on the point right there.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit like that in France too. It's a little bit like that in France too. But the whole thing is that with my whole point and my whole message, even though it get conjugated based on translation, your focus should be to maximize your money for the long as you can. Which I think my opinion, is the place you can do that is in America, so that you can then own property outside of America, but still be based in America, so that when you go to those other countries, the first thing they see is they don't see a color.
That's where I think that's where you lose people. If you would have said, make money, if you can make more money in whatever country, make it. If you're just saying, oh, it's I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but it would just be like, like there's an old saying, like live your best life. Wherever you can make the most money and be the happiest, probably being the happiest would probably be number one before making the most money. Then that's the direction a person should go. I don't put money first. You put happiness first, and being able, and then put your happiness, because you could be wealthy and not be happy. If a person lives an unhappy life wasn't worth living. Happiness has to be the first thing on the agenda, not money.
Mr. G is so right in the comments. He said if it's both, your US dollars and American citizenship play a part. Racism in the US is deep. ASF, we all know what that means. Even when you get the illusion, it's not there. That is so true. And somebody asked about it being racism in Colombia. I'm not saying it's not, because I don't have to deal with it. But what I'm saying is, if it is racism, it's not within the system. It's the system of America, because the man made the same point I was saying. It doesn't matter where you from. See, these other countries, once they hear you speak English and they see you're a gringo, they treat you differently. But in America, it don't matter. As soon as the police see you, you drive past and they see your skin, it don't matter what country you from.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that makes them even more a little aggressive when they find out, oh, you from Africa? Oh, you think you got a little dollars? And don't worry, Rich, I know you about to hit us with the final thoughts, man. Go ahead and say your piece.
But you know what? Don't
shout out to
before
Mr.
you
G,
go to,
man. Shout out to Mr. G, man. Anybody want to take that one?
Yes, we talk about now.
Yeah, we already got it. We got it.
But you know what, though, traveler?
I ain't gonna front, man. I was falling asleep, man. That's why I have my camera off.
Man,
I don't think that. I don't think it would be fair to say that racism. And again, I swear to God, I don't use that word. The racism doesn't exist in all of these Latin American countries, from news stations to the politicians, etc. Surely it exists, and surely they have a structure. In some cases, even more racist than America. You know, they can just like outwardly display it and get away with it more so than America. I think even in Colombia, it's obvious. You know, racism exists, but I think in America is and it is in the system. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, if you know look at newscasts or judges in most of these Latin American countries, they don't. You know, they're not gonna put people who have a semblance
Do
of
you think
color.
it's do
You
you
know,
think it's because it's just most of the time because black people are in the minority, and the minority is always pretty much associated with poverty, which is associated with this is why our country is not doing good because of this group or class
but
of
see,
people.
but see, but true that I believe that is to some degree true. But when you talk about, when you look at the history of racism, I don't know, pick any country, pick Peru, pick, when you look at the psychology and the educators talking about racism, when you look at the history, you'll see racism very clear in these countries, especially when you start talking to some of these the lower class people, like the people of the street who may not have graduated from high school. I mean, it's very clear because of that history. You know what I'm saying? Because that exists all throughout the world. For instance, I ain't never seen 6 Haitians on a damn motorcycle. But when you go in Santo Domingo and you go buy them damn caricatures, is always black dark skinned people, and it ain't nothing but Dominicans riding fucking 8 people on a goddamn motorcycle. You go into Santo Domingo, or you go in some of these places where they sell paintings, and you be like, where the naked Dominican women? And they only painting dark skinned women in these countries. They're not painting the lighter skinned women in these countries. I mean, so racism, if I'm going to use that word, is global. You even got the Asians, you got the Japanese saying we the lightest Japanese, so therefore we the better Asian people.
Yeah, that's
You
weird.
got people who really study this stuff, and they will tell you quickly. Nah, this thing of white supremacy has permeated the fucking earth. It is nowhere where white supremacy has not infected the earth. Anybody does not understand that is just not read enough.
And Szaba,
Period. It Yes.
what's the one thing that gives us as black men a little bit more leeway?
You mean African American man?
What as a black United States man, what's the one thing that'll give us the most leeway in this society that you're talking about?
In this society, like what society?
In
American society? In the world?
in the world. The one thing. It's only one
And
thing.
the one thing that gives us some degree of precedence is a thing that I have to agree with you on, because we have an economic base. That's the reason why. Now let me say this to piggyback on what you're saying, because I've never disagreed with that. I mean, African Americans, man, when you look at us, if you looked at us as a country, man, we're one of the if you looked at just African Americans, not Brazilian, not Colombian black people, man, we're some of the richest people in the earth, on the earth, you know. So I have to agree with you. Just the economic precedence, which what gives us that. So I don't.
And and that's why I always feel the same way I feel, man. What is that, Bolivia?
Venezuela.
Oh wow. That's like 1 penny, right?
My point is people making a big deal like I need to stay in America because it's racism everywhere. It's racism everywhere to a degree, but the worst degree of racism is going to be in the United States. And at least in a country like Venezuela, even though they're going through whatever they're going through, they recognize their contributions to the black. They recognize the contributions of their black citizens to their culture and society in their country.
And then
But see,
also, and then also too, brother, this is what you got to keep in mind, and this is what you have to come back with, is if you raised your daughter in Finland, if you raise your daughter in Switzerland, if you raise your daughter in Japan, if you raise your daughter in Denmark, they probably would fare better than being an African American. That's where you get it fucked up.
Can I
Because it
address?
sounds like you're trying to say it ain't nowhere else we can be better. That's a damn lie.
Facts. I want to address this real quick, man. I'm finna head out of here. People keep talking about racism in these other countries, man. Let me say this, and I'm not gonna act like I've traveled to 30, 40 countries. I've only been to 2, Peru and Colombia, but I'm actually living here. I know a lot of brothers travel; they only come for a week or so, but I'm living here. And Colombia Pacific, I'm living here. So Colombia
I'm
Pacific,
living here.
facts. I can only say this, and I can only say this based on my own experience. If you go around Colombia, the man, you know this because you live in Colombia, and I'm sure you've seen it too, Rich. I'm sure you've seen it too, Flyboy. Gate, I'm sure you've seen it too. It's African influence and love and celebration of Africans all through Colombia. The restaurants,
Sure.
African art, is African this, African that. The music they listen to, like maybe the older generation, maybe, but that's every generation. But this younger generation coming up now, bro, I clean up in Colombia, man. They love black dudes. I get it, the American thing, but I've actually been asked, believe it or not, I'm sure the man has too, if I'm Colombian. I've actually been asked that. And I'm like, really? You actually thought I was Colombian? But of course, for the most part, just because of how I dress and my style, they don't think that I'm Colombian, man. But I want people to understand. Now, I do agree with you, Flyboy, about what you decide to receive into your subconscious mind. If you come here with the idea that they're gonna be racist towards me, that's what you're gonna get. But if you come here with the idea like me, that I'm a king, that's what you're gonna get. They're gonna treat you just like that and try to play you they're gonna try to hit, bro. Right. The main note, every 5 seconds, they trying to hustle me out of money here. Why? Because I'm a fucking king. And I'm a salute, man. I'm about to lay my ass down. I gotta go to work in the morning, man. I gotta get on this corporate plant, this remote plantation. Flyboy, man, I'm definitely hit you on Instagram.
Remote.
Nah,
because I'm still tied to the Matrix. I'm not even gonna act like I'm not. I'm still tied to the Matrix. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely follow you on Instagram. Shout out to man. Shout out OG Gator. Shout out Szaba, man. First time meet you, man. It was real cool. Meet you, Rich. Thanks again, man.
Much respect, bro. We gotta talk. We gotta catch up.
Facts. Yeah, I'll be back. I'm leaving Sunday, but I'm moving here December 10th, man. So hopefully, and you asked me this before. Where am I raising my family at? I'm gonna give y'all a gym before I leave, real quick, and I'm gone. Cartagena is where you go for a short trip. Barranquilla is where you go to find a wife, because that's where all the dimes at. That's not hoes. It's hard to find a hostro there. Medellin, if you come to Medellin, if you just want to see great architecture, and it's a lot of pros in Medellin. If you want to feel the Los Angeles vibe and you want to see the most beautiful dark-skinned women you've ever seen in your freaking life, go to Cali. That's where I am now. And if you love New York, a city that's just like New York, to me, they got the most beautiful women in Colombia, is Bogota. It's not a lot of them, but when you see them, they're the most beautiful women in Colombia because they're the most polished. They look like actual models when you see a dime. Last thing, if you want to raise a family, the best place to raise a family, where I'm going to raise mine, hopefully I'll see some of y'all there, Bucaramanga, Colombia. I went there for the first time. Google it. Do your research. I'm gone.
Hey.
Boy, let me tell you, bro. Barranquilla, I couldn't believe how clean that place was, man. Mm-hmm. That mug was clean than a mug, bro.
North Barranquilla.
Barranquilla wasn't clean. Ain't clean?
No, I said North Barranquilla.
Yeah, but even downtown, man, you be like, dang, man, the street's clean than a mug.
Shit, man. Yeah, pretty clean too. They be cleaned up all goddamn day long.
But it was good to have it
early in the morning. They be sweeping them streets by hand.
Hey,
I say this.
I seen the cleanup crew. They was working out in the morning, like 4 5 in the morning. They was out there working out before they shift.
Yeah, I say this by living overseas. This that thing, and I think it coincides with everything that everybody else saying. Life is just slower. It seems like it make you slow down. In the States, like they say, it's the rat race. Like you just trying to get more money. You trying to go do this or run and do that. You know, I lived in Europe. Ain't no stores open on Sunday. Grocery stores close at 8 o'clock in the daytime. Them people tell you, hey, I got a family too. You know, it's actually websites that go down on Sunday. You click on them and it'll tell you, hey, we out enjoying time with our family. You should be too. When I was in Europe, I lived in, as a German, when I lived in Italy, man, they got that siesta and all that stuff going on in Spain and Italy. Like, they shutting down at lunchtime from 11 to 2 o'clock. You can't get nothing done. You know, Colombia, when I stayed in Bogota, they shutting down the streets on Sundays, sometimes Saturdays, so people just ride in the highways, they bikes and stuff.
I
like
can't.
that.
But you know,
So
I'll end it on this too, man. I don't understand. Now, of course, I understand the the brother, talking about you got to have your finances together. That goes without
yeah,
saying.
that's
But if
foundation
that
right there.
if that is not in, like, say, my situation or Gator's situation, why I'm sitting in one of the most racist fucking countries people don't like, why I'm gonna sit there and where I can be treated like a human being? That's the bottom line, with less stress. Man, that country's so goddamn stressful. I can't watch the motherfucking news in this motherfucker. When I see American news, I quickly, swiftly change the channel like kung fu in this motherfucker.
I
I
got my
can't
TV
look
unplugged.
at American TV. That shit get on my goddamn nerves, bro.
I'm one of them guys that believe in the pain pleasure principle. Like, there's no reward without struggle, and I think that is the definition of America. I think America, we struggle, but the reward, the chance for reward is so high that I'd rather
Bullshit.
that than not
Bullshit.
high.
Do you realize you ain't gonna never go to do you fucking realize you will never go to one of these fucking countries and not see as many homeless motherfuckers as in America? Do you know how many fucking veterans or people that almost gave their life for this motherfucker? And you can't even go to any of them countries you name and see more homeless fucking people. You falling for the motherfucking bobo game, bro.
That's what I mean. I mean, shout out to veterans, but that's what I mean by risk reward. Everybody ain't gonna make it. I think that's what America's about. You either gonna.
But what I'm saying is, most people don't make it in fucking America.
I'm not gonna be one of the most. I work hard not to be one of the most. Now I don't.
But then but what, that's when we talking, like, I think, man, if a brother has his money together, fuck America, man. Fuck that motherfucker, man. Keep your passport, but, man, you be treated more better, man, overseas, in my opinion. And I think most brothers who have made the move strongly say that. And that's why I forcefully say that, because I don't want you to put that bullshit out there. It's better when you got your finances together to sit your ass in America. Because very few people respect us there, man. Not even our sisters respect us.
Hey, Domain.
What's up?
You see he moved outside, that fan stopped working?
Funny.
You got we ain't new to work now.
That brother said the fan stopped working.
We're gonna do the quick last words, man. We're gonna start with my brother Gator, man. Quick last words, bro.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure, never business, getting on here, chopping up with you brothers, having the opportunity to talk with like-minded brothers, but different perspectives, different backgrounds and experiences, lives to help shape me. And I always learn something. I always take some away. So I always relish at the opportunity to learn something from other brothers, and just to make me better my path, and kind of, understand where people are coming from. Like I say, hey, disagreement is not disloyalty, and I don't have to agree with you to understand, and it's good for us to come on here, and, like they say, iron sharpens iron, and I look forward to the next opportunity. Thanks for having me on here, Rich.
Deuce. Brother Domain.
All right, so real quick, I want to say I had the opportunity to meet every brother in person live except Fly Boy and Szaba. I can't wait to have the opportunity to meet you two brothers. We don't have to agree on everything, but we can agree on this. We all brothers in the struggle. And if we meet in person, if you come here to Columbia, I got your back. I respect everybody's decision and position. Thank you for having me a part of this panel. And no matter where you decide to live, whatever country you decide to live in, make it the best, make it work for you.
Right. Brother Fly Boy, man. What's your last words, brother? I know we supposed to do a show tomorrow night. You know, hopefully we can get it on still.
Yeah, I have to come. You mind if I have a girl on it?
Oh, nah, hell yeah, that'll work.
All right, cool. All right.
Fly Boy gonna bring the girls to the goddamn rotate.
Nah, cause the girl, she only could come out on it's like she got kids and she'll get her ex-husband only take the kids on Wednesday, so I'm gonna have her come when we on the thing. All right, that's cool though, right? All right. So
Yeah.
my thing is immortality lies not in the ability to sustain one life for an infinite amount of time, but rather to experience an infinite life in the time allowed. When you see me with the cars, you see me doing all this stuff, it's not because I have a self-confidence issue. It's because I really want to live before I die. Like I really like that statement that Drake said. Jesus said, life is a long story about your death. Well, I want to make that story as intricate and as amazing as possible. And by doing that, what helps me do that is to be able to have an income and make enough money to be able to go to another country and not have to deal with, like you said, the racism in America, because I can pay my way out of that. You know what I mean? You don't have that option here in America. I don't feel as though you have the option here in America unless you make a lot of money. But the money I have, I can do that. But living there, I do want to still keep a thing in America. But I will say this: most importantly, I just want to make sure that if I do go to another country, I have an air conditioner, because the fan ain't gonna cut it at all, man. The fan ain't gonna cut it at all. I ain't gonna live like that. But it's your boy FRE $ Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoyway. Don't ask why. And you'll definitely be able to see a lot more about me if you check out this channel, and you'll be understanding.
Go to his YouTube, man. The Fly Boy Way, man, on YouTube, Instagram, all that. And check Brother Domain. What's your YouTube domain?
El Andalus Learning. El Andalus Learning.
Okay. And Brother Szaba has a YouTube also, man. Y'all can check him out.
My last words is I'm cutting my fan off. And man, that's all I've done, man, in school and in the military. Just go back and forth and debate with people, and I found that people who can kind of debate, I end up respecting them. I haven't met the main, but I've always wanted to meet him because I thought he was a smart dude, and the other brother, man, me and Gator talk, and Gator's a sharp dude, and so I always respect that. But I kind of feel like if a brother can take the heat, especially with me, because I don't have an easy personality. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna defend myself, and everything says a lot. It says a lot about him and the other young brother that's in Colombia, man. I had never talked to him, but just hearing him, I'm really excited to meet him. I'm really excited to meet him. So, it was good. And I think the good thing is, man, just think think of the conversations that we had, how brothers in the street can't have that conversation because they end up shooting one another or whatever. So that points to, our level of education and, being able to take the heat or whatever, and I like that. And I'm gonna end it like this, and to make my point, when I've always felt sorry, and I'm going a little bit off task here. Not George Foreman, Joe Frazier, when Muhammad Ali used to attack him and everything. And when Joe Frazier was on his deathbed, he was still hurt because he couldn't verbally protect himself, And so, being able to just be able to communicate thoughts and convey thoughts is, we need that. Even no matter how different it is, we need that, because ignorant brothers can't do that. And you can always tell a brother who ain't got a lot of education, whether it's formal or informal, he can't just go back and forth and debate. And, so it's a good thing, I think, because trust me, the things that have been said, I'll think about. hopefully some things, we've all said we'll think about, But I look forward to meeting you, the main girl, because when you're in person, it's just better. And the other brother too. And I'm gonna let him come and have a couple of drinks with me under my fan and shit.
Hey.
But I enjoyed it.
Now, but the one thing I would have, I don't want to say wish, it would have been nice if I could have retired early if I would have did that whole veteran thing, the military thing, man. That's one thing, man. I don't say I regret anything, but that's a smart decision if you start that early, man. Because 41 is one hell of an age to be retired. I'm looking at 41 is one hell of an age to be retired.
And then you see, what's the main thing we hear brothers, man, say? Most people who've been in the military, one of the first things they be doing is, first thing they say is, man, I should have stayed in. Man, I should have stayed in.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You hear that all the time with people who got out early. And I was talking to Gator and like I said, I was like, man, Gator, he was like, this is how much I'm gonna make when I get out. I was like, nah, bro, you gotta take in all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I said prostate exam. Like I said, I had that colon exam and I looked at the bill. I was like, man, that's like $50,000. And I was like, I don't know how the brothers who got, a lot of brothers who ain't got a lot of money coming in can pay for that. So.
Roger said something real quick. Roger said, when are we going to deal with the facts? Either we come together like bananas or blow in the wind like scattered leaves. I'm a little bit shaking on this one because you got to understand, if you try to come together with a lot of negative people, they're going to bring the whole shit down. You got to find positive, like-minded people. And we don't have to like Szaba and I might not agree on stuff, but I feel as though we're both positive, like-minded on the thing. But everybody's not like that. So I don't know if all black people can come together.
Oh, and then let me say this too, even if you can get, like Elijah Muhammad was talking about, I think I told Rich about this, I'm with a group of brothers who have a house in Punta Cana. Mm. And, a lot of brothers think it's not possible. And if just like the other scientist was like, if that's in your mind, there's that old story about you got two guys and one is saying I can and one is saying I can't, they're both right. So if there's a brother that believes that brothers can't work together, then that's his energy he's going to put out to the world. And so with us working together in Punta Cana, and I even in the group, I remember there was a brother, I said, man, people can work together. Those people think brothers can't work together. And so, like you said, if you're like-minded, it can work together. As a result of that property in Punta Cana, we all work together. It ain't that much money per month, but it's residual income.
And you can go there whenever you want.
Yes. So, but anyway, all right, man. Y'all have a good night, man. I'm gotta go sleep under my fan. I ain't got no air. I'm living like a peasant up in this mug.
Up in this piece.
All right, man. I enjoyed it, man. We got to do another show again, bro. It was good.
All right. We'll do something, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Check me and Flyboy out tomorrow, man. What time you want to do it?
Let's say 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, man. Yeah, Flyboy gonna get at it. He say he gonna have a female on here. I don't know what the show gonna be about with the female. What we gonna talk about with the female?
Oh no, we can talk about everything.
She just gonna be around. Okay,
it's different over here, man. We 35. It's different. We move different than you. You know what I mean? You guys a little bit more wise over there. Y'all move smart. We move different. We savage over here. Yeah.
I got you. All right, well, hopefully everybody join us tomorrow, man. And we have a good time, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I know a lot of people, man, you watch, but you never hit the subscribe button, man. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. And y'all check my brother right here out. Andalus Learning Center. Y'all doing all that traveling. Y'all don't know your Spanish. Hey, here you go right here. Doing online courses. The whole nine. Tell them about what you got going on, brother.
I got online courses. I'm gonna be putting more videos on YouTube, so you can go ahead and if you don't want to pay, take the free courses. I offer personalized classes and I offer group classes. Hit me up at landaluslearning@gmail, and I can give you prices, and we can work it out.
Brother's gonna work it out. All right, man. I'm tired of shit, man.
All right, good brother. Once again, thank you again for having me on the panel. It's been a pleasure.
We gotta do a show. Also, man, we definitely gotta do something, man. So, shit, what you looking like this week, man?
Probably the best day is going to be, if you're going to try to do it in evening time, is going to be Friday, because I have classes at let me see, tomorrow Wednesday. So my last class, well, I'll be done classes at 9:30. I'll be from classes from 6 to 9 on Wednesday, and then I got classes all day on Thursday. So the best day is going to be Friday in the evening, or Saturday evening, Friday evening.
All right. Well, I'm available Friday and Saturday, man. So,
All right.
let me know, man. We'll do something, man. You know, we'll put on for the city.
Put
On for the
on.
city.
Put on.
Right. Hey.
Hey.
Man, you stay safe out there, brother. You know
All
what
right,
I mean?
when you coming back down?
Shit, man, I'm itching, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what's gonna jump off, man.
Because you gotta finish that love story, right?
Man, I might have to go back to Cartagena, man. Go to Cartagena, and I really want to do Bogota, man. But shit, we'll see, man. I'm not sure where I'm going next, man.
Cool. I'm gonna be between here and Cali, Colombia. So just let me
Shit,
know.
I got to do Cali. So I got to do the last two legs of the of the tour, man. I got to get Cali out the way. I got to get Bogota out the way. You know, I think Barranquilla is more of a thing like for the carnival and stuff, man. So I don't think you've
February.
been there before, right?
No, I haven't been to Barranquilla. I've been to Cartagena, but not Barranquilla.
Yeah, so I think it's more like just go during carnival time, because I heard after that it's pretty much like a ghost town. Like
Okay.
too much going on out there, you know.
Yeah.
I like to be. You like me and you kind of like. We like to party, man. You know, we like to have a good time. So I don't want to be out there just bored and shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right?
So I gotta do Bogota and Cali, get them out the way. See what that Cali about, man. Is that Cali really popping, man?
Oh man, listen. When you go to Cali, you're gonna love Cali, man. It's a spot. It's this club in Cali called the Bronx, and I don't know what everybody be talking about, but yo, you go up in there, you feel like you're in Atlanta. You're in a club in Atlanta, bro.
It's called the Bronx.
Bronx, yeah, it's on Fifth Street, Calle Quinta.
It's like the Bronx, New York.
Yep, exactly, the Bronx.
And what they play? What kind of music they play in there?
They're gonna play live music, but the thing is, it feel like you're up in a club in Atlanta, because it's, as they say, it's a blackout.
Oh, okay.
Nothing but us in there. It ain't even light. It ain't too. You might see a sprinkle of a few light skinned people up in there, but other than that, you gonna be like, yo, these people ain't from Colombia. They from Atlanta. And I'll be like, I tried to tell you.
So what about the club California in Medi? Is it comparable to that, or it's what?
Well, Club California club's a little bit more upscale than the Bronx club. But yeah, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get basically a blackout in there too. And Jenny Lau. You're gonna be like,
Jenny
wait a minute.
Lau about the same too?
Jenny Lau, you listen.
I've been to California, but I've never been to Jenny Lau.
When you step up in Jenny Lau, well, of course, since they speak Spanish, they're gonna play Latin music. But when you step up in Jenny Lau, it's gonna be what you would call a black club. It's gonna be black people. And when you go up in there, you're gonna see somebody, you're gonna say, yo, that mother look just like somebody in my family or somebody down the block from me.
Right. Right. Okay then, man. Well, we'll chop it up, man.
All right.
Appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Appreciate the love. And a lot of you guys, man, been down since day one, man, you know. And I'll never forget, man, you know, subscribers in the beginning, man. That means a lot. So I appreciate everybody. Have a good night. I'm signing out. I'm gonna take my head to sleep.
Yay, peace.
Peace.